At the immortal world in Black Sandtown Gravel Desert, a reptile sensed something. Humans were running nearby. They were being chased by Desert Ghost Wolf at level 3. It has 80 health points, 20 attack power, 3 defense, and a skill called Bite. They begged someone to help them. Those 3 women ran as fast as they could. One of them, the blonde girl, claimed that they were so unlucky when they intended to just get a level 1 sand scorpion, and yet they ran into a pack of level 3 Desert Ghost Wolves. This girl was a level 3 cleric. Behind her was a pink-haired level 3 mage. She asked their leader, a level 3 warrior, what they should do. The level 3 warrior replied that they should hang in there a bit longer because there were sandstones and trees ahead and desert ghosts couldn't climb. They have to get up those trees to have a chance to survive. Inside her head, she's worried because desert ghost wolves were savage by nature. Once they have their eyes on a target, they won't give up. They were injured in the last fight, and the only 2 pieces of black metal gear they had were damaged. It made her wonder if they're going to die that day. Then, unfortunately, the mage tripped and fell. Those 2 girls got worried for her. They called her Xiao Hei. The wolves lunged at her and they told her to watch out. She saw them approaching, and her vision turned monochromatic. The next thing she knew, the wolf was hit. A blade was struck on its head, and it was dead. Someone came to her side. This person was covered in tattered robes. She wondered if this was the one who saved her. But this person was at level 1, so it confused her, because he was just a rookie. He removed his hood and faced the other wolves. He stated that level 3 monsters aren't that strong. They approached him. He pulled out his sword, and he charges forward. The monster leapt up high, but while in midair, he already slashed those monsters. The 3 girls were surprised. He effortlessly slaughtered those wolves, and with a newbie sword at that. Suddenly, Hay pointed at something. Several more wolves had appeared. A horde of wolves arrived in front of them. They were terrified and confused where those wolves came from. Hay speculated that it might be because nearby desert wolves smelled blood of their dead pack members. The warrior told the man to run as the horde could wipe out an entire rookie village. She wasn't joking when she stated that it could tear him into pieces. The man just grinned, wondering if that was true. Then he looked at his screen. The system asked his player named Lin Yuan if he wanted to summon his skeleton warriors. He confirmed, and the skeletons on the screen flew out. And when the cards reached the ground, a large magic circle was created. The skeleton's hand slowly appears. Eventually, several skeleton warriors in level 3 had materialized. It has 100 health points, 35 attack points, 5 defense, and a skill called Beheading. The wolves charge at them. But there wasn't even a hint of worry in Yuan's face. In fact, he wanted to see who gets torn to pieces first. The skeletons got into position, and while they blocked the wolves, Yuan dealt the final blow. He moved swiftly as he slashed those wolves down. 15 minutes later, he struck down the last wolf, then he pulled his sword from its neck. The system notified him that he killed 16 desert ghost wolves and obtained 160 experience points. He also received 16 desert ghost wolf teeth, 16 ghost wolf hides, and 16 desert ghost wolf claws. Blue orbs came out of the wolves, and he absorbed them. The 3 girls hiding behind a rock were shocked. They couldn't believe that he killed all 12 desert ghost wolves alone. Hay approached him to ask if he's a mage, and if what he used was a summoning skill. She explained that he's mage too, but she had never seen a skill like his before. He answered, "Who says I'm a mage?" So she asked what he was. He grinned. Because secretly, he has an SSS tier forbidden class. His stats showed that he's at level 2 and his class was Necromancer. He has talents called Dark Summon and Hell's Gate. His strength was 5, physique was 25, and mental at 30. His experience points were 159 out of 237. The main character of the story was Lin Yuan, who was from Blue Planet, and he's a reincarnator. 3 years ago, scientists observed a mysterious giant planet named Magic Planet that suddenly appeared beside Blue Planet. And 3 months ago, a mysterious company announced a virtual reality game called Immortal World, and it shocked the world. After entering the Immortal World using the virtual reality goggles they developed, humans were categorized into different classes. Through leveling up, they gained the ability to fight against the monsters inside the game. At first, people didn't care, since it was just a game. Until one day, some people started gaining the same abilities in the real world they had obtained inside the game. These people were called the Chosen Ones. From that point on, A bunch of cultists who call themselves evil star god believers started entering the real world from the virtual world and began killing people. They wreaked havoc in the game. And Yuan's parents died in that catastrophe. Humans gathered the entire planet's power and fought back, but in the end, they were all defeated by the cultists, and Yuan died in that final battle. But he didn't expect that an hour ago, he would actually reincarnate back to the first time he logged into the immortal world. Also this time, the system gave him an SSS tier forbidden class. He was determined that this time, he would level up his strength and skills even faster to protect the blue planet and his family. He crouched down near the wolf. He placed his hand over it and absorbed something from them. The system asked him if he wanted to use a dark summon on desert ghost wolf corpses. He replied yes. That made the wolf stand up. The class's special trait gave him a warrior-like physique, but still having the ability to use the dark summon, he can turn monster corpses into zombies who could fight in his place. The zombified monsters not only inherit their previous levels and skills, they also obtain a new skill called Body of Death, which makes them immune to most negative effects. The wolves became ghost wolf zombies. Yuan had another talent called Hell's Gate. It can be used to keep monsters reincarnated using his dark summon, and the storage quantity increases along with his level. A gate appeared, and it opened. The ghost wolf zombies entered it. If Yuan's level was high enough, he'll obtain an unstoppable undead army. The warrior woman saw that he's reviving the dead into zombies. It made her question who he truly was. Yuan noticed the time and expected something to arrive. Suddenly, a red screen appeared to notify them that the world boss, a giant death wolf, was descending onto the gravel desert. Yuan meant to kill the boss. Lightning flashed across the sky, and cracks had formed on the sky. Then it slowly shattered. The players nearby knew that it meant that the giant wolf was coming. One of them remembered from the game's official website that its attack range was 50 meters. It was best for them to run as far away as possible. They ran as fast as they could. It was followed by loud screams. Some of them hid behind a boulder. The boss had killed a lot of players. This giant death wolf was at level 6 and it has 2,400 health points, 360 attack points, 48 defense and skill called Howl, Heart of the Giant, and Deathclaw. One of them was furious to the point that he was ready to attack the boss. Two guys stopped him. They knew that a single player can't possibly kill the giant death wolf. They knew it was suicide to fight it. They wondered if anyone could really kill this world boss. Then they saw someone attempting to do something. Yuan walked towards the boss. He gripped his sword tightly, and his eyes exuded his determination. Judging by his sword, they could tell that he was a newbie. And the giant death wolf is a level 6 Lord-grade boss monster. And without any help, even with all of them combined, it's not even enough for it to feel a thing. In Immortal's world, monsters were categorized from weak to strong, starting from normal, elite leader, lord, king, monarch, and god. Among them, a Lord-grade monster, even at level 1 boss, was still a big threat to newbies. But Yuan approached it. He was just a few steps away from it. The men hiding behind the rocks tried to call him back because they thought that he's just going to die. But to Yuan, a level 6 boss world seemed nothing. It got offended and activated its Howl attack. Yuan was able to evade it. It jumped onto him and activated Deathclaw. Yuan watched it move. He remembered from his previous life that this world boss only has 3,400 health points and 510 attack points. To the adventurers inside the gravel desert, whose highest level was only 3, it was definitely a challenge to defeat it without a team. Back then, he almost died fighting it with a group. But now that he reincarnated, having survived countless near-death battles, he's no longer the same person as before. The world boss took a step and it shattered the ground. It was trying to stomp on Yuan, but he was able to evade it successfully. The bystanders couldn't believe how quick he was. After that, the world boss became enraged, but Yuan just grinned. He touched the ground and made a pattern on it. He made something rise. It was the Hell's Gate. It slowly opened and he called forth his army of death. The ghost wolf zombie came running out. The men on the side dropped their jaws in surprise and confusion. They had no idea what the eerie door was and why the zombies looked like desert ghost wolves. They also wondered how he turned so many level 3 wolves into zombies. Yuan reached level 3 by killing monsters on his way there, and because of that, the Hell's Gate capacity had also increased to 30. It made him a bit late, but he still thinks it was worth it. According to Immortal's aggro mechanism, when the summoner was stronger than the summoned monsters, both were present at the same time, then the monster will target the summoner first. Unless the summoned monsters attack, the boss won't change targets. So the world boss's attention was diverted to the ghost wolf zombies. The wolves howled loudly, and the world boss was about to smash it. And that's when Yuan found the right timing. He charges forward. Using the aggro mechanism, when the boss starts attacking the summoned monsters, he knows to get aggro from it and stops the attack midway. And that's when Yuan slashed this monster. It roared loudly and chased after him. When the boss has its aggro on the summoner, he would want it to attack the summoned monsters again to divert aggro. He believed that many ants can kill the elephant, so in their situation, even if each desert ghost wolf zombie deals just 15 damage, the giant death wolf's 3,400 health points would still be affected. And it won't last long. Everyone was amazed, especially that it was a Lord rank boss that he just defeated. Some men behind him looked like they had evil plans. Here's what happened. The boss had 500 health points left when Yuan stabbed it and injured it critically, causing its health points to drop continuously. After that, blood splurted out of its body as it roared loudly. Then it fell on the ground. At that point, the boss was at the brink of death with 10 health points remaining. Yuan glared at it. Suddenly, 3 men jumped in. They were about to steal the Yuan so they could get the treasure. They thought he was easy to deal with since his zombie army had been wiped out already. Yuan glanced at them. One of the bystanders told him to watch out. His brows furrowed. As he slashed those men first, their blood dripped from his sword, and he warned them not to overestimate themselves. The crowd was surprised with the insta-kill that he just did. It was impressive how he used only one move and instantly killed 3 level 3 bandits. Meanwhile, the monster tries to stand up, and Yuan just slashed it down. It received a critical hit. Then it was followed by a message from the system that the world boss giant Deathwolf health points was reduced to 0. He had successfully killed it and obtained 480 experience and 1 soul gem. Yuan was curious about what rewards it brought. A silver treasure chest and a crystal appeared. He took the soul gem. It was a gem containing soul power. After collecting a number of them, he can go to the Eternal Council to exchange them for legendary equipment. After reaching level 60, players need to go to the Eternal Council where the elves live to continue leveling up. It was too early for him at that moment. But still, the gem was the easiest way to obtain the legendary equipment. Immortal's equipment rank was divided from low to high, starting from blank, black iron, bronze, silver, gold, dark gold, epic, legendary, and mythical. Rookie players usually only have black rank equipment and rarely get black iron equipment. 2 hours ago, based on his experience in his previous life, he manipulated 2 skeleton warriors to lure away the elite rank black sand lizard. Then he got a chance to open the bronze chest that they were guarding, and the black lizard robe inside was bronze rank equipment. The black lizard robe in bronze is a cloth armor which increases defense by +30, mind +10, and agility +10. The system notified him that he was the first player to kill the world boss and obtain the title Hunter. After equipping this title, the attack power increases by 10%, critical attack chance increases by 10%, and spell damage increases by 10%. In the immortal world, different titles can add different attributes or special status to players, so the bonus effect of this title was beneficial. Since he's the first player to kill the world boss, he obtained a reward. A silver chest appeared. It contained several items. The first was the silver moon sword in silver rank. This sword has moonlight energy, plus 100 attack power, and plus 10 agility. He also received a silver rank Eye of Death accessory that increased mind plus 40. It also gives an additional skill called Corrosion Ray Level 1, which causes speed damage of corrosion damage to the target enemy by 200%. Then there's the Recovery Potion, which immediately restores 20% health points and mana upon use. Another item he received was Scroll Level 1, which increases skill proficiency points after use. And lastly, there was the Monster Essence. This essence was dropped by a powerful monster and can be used to make potions or can be taken directly. After taking it, he would gain either strength, physique, agility, or mind attributes by 10 points. He was happy with the great harvest that he had. In addition to that, the system calculated his experience points to update his player data. The result wasn't bad. He increased from level 3 to level 4 max. Each level up gives him 5 free attribute points, 3 points for mind, and 2 points for strength. With this increase, his stats window now showed that he's at level 4 with a hidden profession called Necromancer. His talents were Dark Summoning and Hell's Gate. His strength is 10, physique 10, agility 25, mind 35, and his current experience was at 52/779. He was happy with his level up. His attributes then became the highest among all players in Gravel Desert. He noticed, though, that his Hell's Gate was at 0/40. In addition, although all the zombie ghost wolves were sacrificed in the battle, after he leveled up, the Underworld Gate became larger, enough to accommodate 40 zombie monsters. The system prompts if he wants to use dark summoning on the giant death wolf. He replied yes. The giant death wolf opened its eyes. Then it stood up. It looked mighty and fierce. Its complete stats showed that it was at level 6 with 2,400 health points, 360 attack power, 48 defense. Its skills were Evil Wolf Howl, Heart of the Beast, Death Claw, Undead Body, Wrath of the Undead. The Evil Wolf Howl causes damage equal to attack by 400% to surrounding enemies and stuns them for 5 seconds. The Heart of the Beast increases health points by 100. The Death Claw increases attack power by 150. And the Wrath of the Undead gives allied units 10% critical attack chance by 20%. Just as he expected of the world boss, it has both AoE damage skill and excellent crowd control capabilities. After becoming a zombie, other than Undead Body, there's another skill called Wrath of the Undead. With the help of this giant death wolf, he can quickly replenish the zombies in the Underworld Gate. The crowd who watched him from the sides whispered that he was scary for turning the world boss into a zombie monster too. They watched as the world boss entered the gate. Yuan noticed them, which made them hastily hide behind the boulder. Despite being out of sight, he could tell that they were just there. After the 3 bandits were killed, they actually dropped a black iron sword, which was a good weapon for low-level players, but he already has the Silver Moon Sword. He took it, then he walked towards the boulder. The players panicked as he approached them with the sword. They were scared that he would kill them to make them drop equipment. If that was the case, it was too late for them, because they wouldn't be able to escape. Yuan approached the man whom he saw shouting earlier. The man trembled in terror and couldn't answer. Unexpectedly, Yuan gave him the sword. The man was surprised. Yuan just thought that it would be of use to him, then he left. The crowd was in shock. They couldn't believe that he gave him the sword. And on top of that, it was a black iron rank sword worth tens of thousands. 10 minutes later, Yuan felt a strange sensation, like an electricity zapping him. His gaming gear had turned red. Just as he expected, the helmet had insufficient battery, so he came back to reality. With that happening, it made him want to quickly earn money to buy the game pod. He removed the helmet. Immortal World was a hyper-realistic holographic game that was divided into multiple login areas based on country. In addition, each login area also contains different game kingdoms for players to choose from. Like the Elpad district where he lives as an example, there were 4 countries. There was the West Desert Ancient Country, Southern Empire, Northern Hades Empire, and Tidal Island. When he signed up, he was given the liberty to choose his place of birth. And living his life again, he made the same choice in his previous life. He chose the West Desert Ancient Country. Before he died, he discovered a secret. In the moment of catastrophe where monsters wreaked havoc, everyone begged to be saved. And there was him, laying on the shattered ground, grave injured and almost lifeless. When a man in a robe appeared, he saw him. The man floated in the air, and behind him were several women with angel wings. The man had yellow sapphire. It was the emblem of the West Desert Ancient Country Guild. There he learned that the first believer of the Starry Sky evil god was a human player. He remembered that the first believer was the key figure in finally summoning the evil that got to descend on Earth. There are still 3 years before the evil god descends, and if he can get rid of him during that period, then he might be able to prevent the tragedy from happening again. But his only clue was the badge. Only guilds in the main city of West Desert have yellow sapphire. The condition for grading to the main city was to reach level 10, and if he wanted to find out the details of this rat, he had to level up as fast as possible. That's when he remembered something. He took out the card, as he was curious if he could really summon the skeleton card. Some players in the Immortal World can bring the power in the game back to the real world for use as soon as they enter the game. They were called the Chosen One, or also known as the Child of Destiny. Each of them has a powerful hidden profession and extremely high luck. They were the main fighting force against the evil gods in the later period. In Yuan's previous life, he only brought out his in-game ability to the real world when the disaster on Earth broke out. But this time, he got it earlier. Which led him to conclude that the necromancer profession wasn't normal, He just doesn't know how different it was from the other chosen ones. His thoughts were interrupted when someone knocked on the door, because it was about time. His parents were at the dining table. Then he served them fancy dishes. At first, they were overwhelmed but they chose to accept that rare gift from him. While watching them eat, he thought about how it's a common characteristic of human beings to only realize the significance of something once they have lost it. Then, they would seek to make amends. In his previous life, he was muddle-headed and indifferent to ordinary ways. Back then, his parents were worried that he continues to be addicted to games, and it will lead to his life being ruined. They knew he would be unhappy. And when the disaster robbed him of everything he had, it was only then that he realized that he was so ignorant back then. He experienced great pain back then. So now they enjoyed a good meal on a Sunday. He asked if Xiao Tan wasn't coming home to eat. His mother replied that Tan was preparing for a mock exam, so she brought her lunch to school. Then she asked him to bring her some food later since she almost never had freshly cooked ones. She was truly happy because she never expected him to learn how to cook, and the chicken wings he made were so delicious. She hogged all of them, and her husband let her. His father was slightly surprised when he placed a chicken on his plate. Then they told them that he will learn to cook other dishes. After hearing that, both of his parents were in a daze. They were touched by his gesture. After that, Yuan started to train. It is to better control the power brought by the game so that in the future, he would have a strong physique enough to support it. He ran and did boxing. He even went 50 meters in 5.5 seconds. It wasn't bad, but he still wanted to improve. He checked his wristwatch and realized that it was time for him to go back. Inside the game, Yuan entered the gravel desert. A bird flew by. It hovered over him. Then he noticed it charging towards him. This was a howling bird at level 2. It has 40 health points, 20 attack power, 2 defense, and a skill called Peck. He slashed those birds to death. The system notified that he killed 3 howling birds, which gives him 15 experience points. He wasn't pleased that it was only 15 experience points. Then he noticed something. It was because of the birds that he made as his follower that several ferocious wolves appeared. Just as he expected, the birds were one of the favorite prey of the desert ghost wolf, and it attracted such a large pack of wolves all of a sudden. He took out a potion and drank it. It was a monster essence which increases all his attributes plus 10. The wolves attacked, and he treated this encounter as a warm-up. He slashes them one after another. The system notified that he had killed 4. Several more wolves attacked him, but he easily slashed them all, adding another 10 desert ghost wolves killed by him. He steadied his footing, and to his surprise, more wolves appeared, and they surrounded him. He took a deep breath as he tightened the grip on his sword. Then, in a swift motion, he charges at them and instantly kills 20 desert ghost wolves. He went on and killed another 30 of them. The system notified again that he had killed 40 desert ghost wolves. Because of that grind, he leveled up to level 5. The Hell's Gate opened, and the wolves made their way into it. With that, he had replenished the zombie beasts that he lost before. At level 5, his Hell's Gate was now at 50-50. His strength was 22, physique 20, agility 45, and mind 48. His current experience level was at 38 out of 1,252. After drinking the monster essence to improve his 4 main attributes, his combat should allow him to fight elite monsters of the same level alone. Now, he's off to find something else. At the Black Sand Town, Yuan visited someplace. He stood at the door. Eventually, he opened it. A drunk man asked who it was. This person was Kun Shi, a Black Sand Town mage instructor. He told him that he came to learn some skill. In Immortal, skills were usually obtained by killing monsters and obtaining skill books dropped from treasure chests. Other than that, each profession will have its corresponding newbie professional mentor who was responsible for teaching. In his past life, Kun Shi was his mage instructor. Yuan was a mage in his past life. The necromancer was a forbidden profession, so unfortunately, he knew little about it in his previous life. But from the perspective of combat style, it can also be considered a mage-type profession. Before accruing the exclusive skills of necromancer, he knew he should learn more of the general skill of a mage first. He expressed to Shi that he wanted to learn soul fire, healing, and invisibility. Shi replied that it's easy if he has the money. He threw a pouch filled with money at him. Shi saw the silver coins inside. Immediately, he created an orb of light in his hand while telling the young man to work hard, as the glory of mage will shine brightly on him. With that, the system congratulated Yuan for obtaining the mage profession. He learned Soulfire in Black Iron, level 1. It causes mage damage by 100% in exchange for spending 10 mana. It has a cooldown of 10 seconds, but his proficiency was at 0 out of 100. The next skill he learned was Heal in Black Iron rank, level 1. When Heal was casted on a target, it recovers 10% health points, but it also costs 10 mana. It has a cooldown of 3 minutes, and his proficiency was also at 0 out of 100. And the last skill he learned was Invisibility in Black Iron rank, level 1. With it, he could enter stealth mode for 5 seconds, but using it costs 10 mana. It had a cooldown of 3 minutes and proficiency of 0 out of 100. He thought about it, and with Soulfire, his long-range output was ensured. Then Healing can heal himself and his teammates, and Invisibility can be used to save his life during an emergency. But those were just 3 basic moves, and if he wants to learn advanced skills, he will have to find more resources. He decided to grind even more. So he went to the Black Sand Town east side at the Black Sand Mountain. The system congratulated him for discovering the Kobold Mine. Kobolds are monsters of around level 5, and they live in nearby crypts and caves. They have a keen sense of smell and can find enemies in the dark. They like to sneak attack and are very cunning. There's usually 100 of them in one group, and whether in terms of quantity or level, kobolds were currently the most suitable for him to level up with the zombie army. He drank the potion that he bought from an NPC merchant half an hour ago. It is a night vision potion, which provides players with a 3-meter radius of vision in a dark environment, and it lasts for 30 minutes. Other than grinding level, he planned to use the kobolds to grind his skill proficiency for his skills Invisibility and Soulfire, and to also open some chests. He ordered his wolves to lead the way. He had a torch with normal fire to illuminate a radius of 5 meters. They entered the cave. 15 minutes later, they were still going deep inside, but Yuan was fully alert. They heard some sounds. It made him throw the torch forward. It illuminated the area. Then it revealed some red eyes. It was from the Kobold Miners. They are at level 5 with 120 health points, 30 attack power, 6 defense, and skills called Dig and Smash. The Kobold Miners attacked the wolves. Finally, Yuan found what he was searching for. A loud explosion made the pole fall. Yuan instructed his wolves to kill all the Kobold Miners. Naturally, the Kobold Miners fought back, but they were no match for Yuan, who killed several of them in a single slash. He also activated his skill called Smash, and in one swift move, he had killed 8 Kobold Miners. He knew that those monsters weren't great fighters, but he might want to dodge their shovels. Several Kobold Miners charged towards him. He activated his invisibility skill, and it made the Kobold Miners confused. He suddenly appeared behind them and chopped off their limbs. He got another notification that he killed 20 of them. He landed at the edge of the cliff and watched those Kobold Miners fall. Yuan was pleased that his proficiency for invisibility has also increased, but he also noticed that the attributes of those ordinary Kobold Miners were still too weak, so grinding them to level up makes it slow. He turned them into his own. They became an undead Kobold Miner at level 5. Their stats and skills stayed the same, except for a new skill that they gained, which was called Undead Body. The smash attack causes damage to a target not exceeding 5% of the health points. Yuan told them that they will replace the undead ghost wolves and made them go forth. He was looking for the boss in the area. They passed through an alleyway, but Yuan eventually stopped on his tracks, because there were so many paths to take in front of him. He noticed something on the ceiling. There were patches on it. That's when he found what he was looking for. He released a green flame that burns the slime-looking patches on the roof. Unbeknownst to him, someone watches him, and it charges from behind. It was a large red kobold with a whip. Yuan wasn't alarmed, though. This creature was called the Kobold Overseer, an elite monster at level 6. It has 350 health points, 100 attack power, 10 defense, and skills such as Dig and Whip. It said that since ancient times, the weak have been prey to the strong. It believed in the immutable law of survival in the natural world. Eventually, the predator was destined to become prey in the end, because absolute danger lurks for it in every corner and at all times. The Kobold Overseer threw its whip on the ground, which caused dust and smoke to rise. The dust limits the visibility in the area. In that natural world, there are cases where the hunter may disguise themselves as prey and attack stealthily, and it was the exact same moment that Yuan was in. He got a hold of the whip. Despite it being thorny, he gripped it. The Kobold Overseer fell for his trap. He tugged at the whip, which pulled the Kobold Overseer, and then he moved it so the Kobold Overseer would crash on the ground. The monster immediately stood up, but it was caught off guard again, because in an instant, Yuan had slashed it. With that, the kobold was defeated. Blood splurted out from several cuts in its body, and then it fell. Yuan heard growling noises, and when he checked, it was from a horde of kobolds. The system notified him that the supervisor activated the skill, so the kobold miners entered a bloodthirsty state. In this state, their attack speed increases by 40%, and movement speed increases by 25% for 60 seconds. He estimated that there were around 50 of them. It was a lot, but he was confident since his followers were almost at par in terms of number and strength. He summoned all of them. As his followers walked out, he declared that the hunt began. Both sides made loud growling noises before they attacked. The wolf scratched the kobold, then it activated the demonic wolf's howl. Those who were hit entered a state of stun and severe bleeding. Yuan found the right timing, so he ordered everyone to kill all the enemies. Because of that, notifications pop out one after another to display the number of kobold overseers that he had slain. The numbers continued to increase, and eventually that led him to level up to level 6. He absorbed the defeated kobold overseers, and they became undead kobold supervisors, elite level. Their stats and skills stayed the same. There was just an additional skill called Undead Body. Seeing that happen, some kobold overseer sneakily walked away, but Yuan noticed them escaping, and naturally he wouldn't let them, so he slashed them without hesitation. But to his surprise, it counterattacked. The boss activates the skill called Decisive Strike. Yuan had to jump backwards to evade it. This attack was from the kobold boss, the boss of the area. It was at level 7, with 7,000 health points, 150 attack, and 80 defense. It has skills such as Digging and Decisive Strike. Yuan had been waiting for this boss to appear. The kobold boss swings around its weapon. It was a heavy hammer that caused a dent on the wall. To its surprise, its weapon got stuck, and that's when Yuan knew the fight was over. He charges at it. His slash was in timing when the kobold boss had already pulled out his hammer. The attack didn't even scratch it. Just as he expected of a dungeon boss, its defense was tough. The kobold boss lifts its hammer and targeted Yuan. It was such a powerful attack, but fortunately, Yuan was able to evade it. The kobold boss roared loudly as it shattered the ground and made the debris scatter everywhere. Yuan had to jump high for him not to get caught up in it. He landed safely on the ground. He realized that dungeon bosses have different attack patterns compared to the elite class monsters. It was at least 2 or 3 times stronger than the elite class monsters. He made some space between them first, and he did that by summoning his followers. They surrounded the kobold boss while unleashing different attacks. The kobold overseer used whip attack, the kobolds used smash attack, and the wolves used howl. To counterattack, the kobold boss used a heavy attack on them, and it triggered a critical strike. Yuan instructed them to charge forward. So the wolves jumped on the kobold boss and bit it on different parts of its body. The skill Wrath of the Undead was activated, so their attack power was increased by 10% and critical hit chance by 20%. So when they bit the kobold boss again, it felt an immense pain that made it groan loudly. The wolves held its ground. While Yuan activated the spirit flame, he unleashed several green flames towards the kobold boss. It was because he knew that the kobold boss has low magic resistance. The excruciating pain made it scream loudly. Its next attack was fueled with anger. Yuan used the skill Invisibility. He went behind it to strike at its exposed parts. He stabbed its nape. His sword pierced deeply, and it made the kobold boss groan in pain. And immediately it swings its hammer. Yuan stepped away as he called one of his followers. The wolf jumped high and fetched him midair. He grabbed onto its coat as they keep distance from the kobold boss while the other wolves attack it. At this point, the kobold boss's armor was gone, so Yuan saw it as the perfect chance. He made several fireballs and unleashed it towards the kobold boss to kill it. It caused a huge explosion, and the kobold boss was engulfed with fire. The kobolds rallied together. But for Yuan, it was easy to defeat them. His followers attacked it, and several notifications of the successfully slain kobolds appeared continuously. One of them sneaked away, but to its surprise, Yuan had blocked its path. He won't let them escape. He pulled out his sword. He covered it with his magic and slashed the kobold using it. In an instant, he beheaded the kobold, and it dropped dead on the ground. The system notified that he successfully slain the kobold chieftain, and he received 50 experience points for it. He smiled when he saw that. Then the system notified him that he had reached level 7. That made him happy too. Then he made plans to head to the Western Desert Kingdom once he reached level 10. He also saw on the screen that the effects of Spirit Flame and Invisibility have reached level 2, and their effect has doubled. Something had glowed and it caught his attention. The recently slain kobold chieftain dropped a bronze treasure chest. He approached it and opened it. It gave him a leather pouch, undying torch, skull mask, and a shadow gauntlet. He used the hound leather pouch, which gave him 20 gold coins. He remembered that banks around the world will start a new currency between the real world and the game world. So 20 gold coins would equate to 200,000 yen, which wasn't bad. His next item, the undying torch, provides light in a 3-meter radius around the player without a time limit. The skull mask is a weapon when equipped. It reduces 5% of physical damage received, increases constitution by +10, and strength +10. He looked curious with the gauntlet. This silver-ranked shadow gauntlet is a weapon that grants strength comparable to the kobold chieftain. It increases defense and attack by +30. He was lucky to receive a silver item from a bronze treasure chest, and after finding out that it was comparable to the kobold chieftain's strength, he was itching to try it. Meanwhile, outside the kobold cave, there was a man who slain several kobolds using his axe. He was the yellow soaring dragon, the bloodstained guildmaster, and he was a warrior in level 8. A yellow-haired man was with him, and he believed that if they were together, anything was possible. This person was Yellow Soaring Tiger, the vice guild master of the Bloodstained Guild. He is a thief at level 5. The guild members with them were impressed that they took out so many desert ghost wolves at once. One of them expressed that if the bastards from Thunder Guild came back, they could kill them and loot their items. Yellow Soaring Tiger scoffed when he expressed that if only Yuan didn't show up, they would have already become the first ones to kill the world boss. While they were having that conversation, they heard the news that the world boss, Giant Ghost Wolf, had been killed by Yuan. It surprised them. Yellow Soaring Tiger was angry and vowed to beat Yuan up when he ran into him. Yellow Soaring Dragon reminded him not to be reckless. He knew that Yuan was strong and should be recruited to their guild instead of making him their enemy. Since he heard a kobold dungeon nearby, he decided to check it first while everyone stays there and recovers their strength. Yellow Soaring Tiger felt bad that his big bro scolded him 3 times already because of Yuan. His annoyance with him had heightened. It made him more resentful to the point that he wanted to pull out his teeth and behead him in front of his big bro once he saw him. He wanted to show his big bro that he was the stronger one. One of the guild members was blushing when he suggested to him that instead of being angry, he could look ahead instead. He got curious about what it was. Then he saw a silhouette. On a closer look, it was a beautiful woman in a sexed witch outfit. The men gave her lustful looks when they saw her. Meanwhile, our MC left the cave, and with a dog-headed zombie leader at that. It was at level 7 with 1,000 health points, 150 attack, and 80 defense. It has skills such as Dig, Body of Death, and Heavy Impact. Heavy Impact means that after the impact, it deals 200% attack to the target's health point, with a 10% critical chance. A strong leader-grade zombie was added to his army, which increased the number of zombies in the Gate of Hell to 70. His thoughts were interrupted when he heard someone scream not to get any closer. It was the woman in a witch outfit. She was exhausted and scared as she yelled at the attackers not to come any closer because she won't hold back. Those Bloodstained Guild members think that they were in luck for meeting such a beautiful lady. Yellow Soaring Tiger told her to relax and suggested that she enjoys the experience rather than suffering from it. A bald guild member added that, when she serves the vice guild leader, there would be amazing benefits for her too. She yelled at them that she won't hold back if they come any closer. Yellow Soaring Tiger kicked her while telling her that she'll find out who's not holding back. After that, he grabbed her by her hair and asked her if she really thinks that a mere useless mage like her thinks she can harm them. He advised her to stop being naive. Then he challenged her to give her best shot if she hasn't given up yet. He pinned her on the ground. He had this pervy expression as he encourages her to struggle even more because it makes him even more excited. He started ripping out her clothes, which made her scream loudly. He didn't expect that a fist would land on his cheek and make him lose teeth. A well-deserved punch, I guess. Yuan had the gauntlet equipped on that hand. It sent Yellow Soaring Tiger flying in the opposite direction. The guild members turned pale upon seeing that. He crashed with a powerful impact, and it left him heavily injured. Yuan was pleased with the gauntlet. He realized that it was more handy than he thought. One of the guild members ran to contact the guild leader at once, while the other 2 asked who the attacker was. They told him he's dead for insulting the Bloodstained Guild. Yuan just glared at them. Yuan was aware that the Bloodstained Guild was the first guild in the Black Gravel Town during the early days of the Immortal World. Most guild members were red-named players who committed all kinds of evil. He could recall their creepy appearance that screams how dangerous they were. Red names players were players who commit acts such as theft, robbery, and murder. They were players whose evil gauge reaches 10, as judged by the system. Although the evil god hasn't invaded, players killed inside the game don't die in the real world. But the equipment drop and the level decrease will still cause players a huge amount of loss. He asked them if they were all from the Bloodstain Guild. In his previous life, those rats had caused trouble for him. Those men were confused. But they act arrogantly as they replied that, yes, they boasted that they were the #1 guild inside the Black Gravel Town. And they assumed that Yuan was getting scared after offending their vice guild leader. They told him that it was too late to apologize, and they suggested that he cut off both of his arms and kneel down like a dog. In one quick movement, Yuan had slashed them both, and their arms fell on the ground. They screamed out loud as the blood gushed out of their chopped limbs. Yuan told them that he'll help them keep both of their arms, but as for their barks, they should save it for when they're bound to hell. The woman was surprised at how strong Yuan was. A few moments had passed when Yellow Soaring Tiger gained consciousness. He drank a regeneration potion which regenerated 20% of his health points and mana. He was so furious. His murderous intent exudes from his body. Back to our MC, 2 men arrived. It was the guild member who fetched the president. Yuan glanced at them. The guild member ratted that the kid almost killed the vice leader. Yellow Soaring Dragon asked who he was, but when he saw him, it made him stop. He saw those cold eyes and remembered a rumored guy. Then he noticed the sharp sword like moonlight itself that could cut through anything, plus the crushing pressure just from him standing there. The guild member urged him to show what he can do. After that, he taunted Yuan. Yellow Soaring Dragon sensed the pressure and recognized the sword, likely a drop from the world boss. It made him think it was Yuan. He's so annoyed at his dumb guild members for annoying him. In his head, he called them a bunch of losers. Yuan asked him if he's the guild leader of the Bloodstain Guild. Yellow Soaring Dragon didn't want to lose his dignity, which made him think that the fight was unavoidable. He charged at Yuan. The woman covered Yuan's back while telling him to watch out. It was because she saw Yellow Soaring Tiger attacking at the same time, too. This man was intent on killing him. Yellow Soaring Dragon claimed that angering them would be the dumbest decision in this kid's life. Deep inside, he was relieved of the great chance when Yellow Soaring Tiger showed up too. They attacked on both sides, but Yellow Soaring Dragon was caught off guard when Yuan summoned the Kobold Boss. The Kobold Boss grinned, then swung its hammer and hit Yellow Soaring Tiger, causing him to fly backwards. This piece of shite really had no brains, huh? Then Yuan approaches the guild leader. He glared at him when he told him that he's next. Yellow Soaring Dragon turned pale. Yuan slashed him, and he died. Yuan commented that the first guild wasn't even capable enough to make him get serious. The system had detected that he had killed another player. It increased his evil value by 2 points. It didn't bother him, since as long as it doesn't increase again in 1 week, it will disappear. The woman saw the other guild members escaping. She asked them if he's going to chase them. He replied that they're just minions, so there's no need for that. He approached the dead body of the vice leader. He grabbed the loot, which was an explosive battle axe in silver grade. This is a weapon wherein when hitting a target, it releases an explosion, dealing area damage to the target. It increases attack by +40 and strength by +30. He also received the Dragon Teeth Crossblade silver grade, wherein when hitting a target, it releases flame and deals continuous burning damage. It also increases attack by +40 and strength by +30. Next was the Thorn Dagger Bronze grade, where it increases attack by +15 and agility by +20. The attributes weren't bad. He can either use them or sell them for a good price. The woman approached him and thanked him for saving her. Then she asked for his name. He thought about it and replied that one day she'll see his name on top of the global top 10 combat power leaderboard. That overwhelmed her. He left, and she tried to follow him while screaming that nobody wants to see some stupid leaderboard. She wants him to carry her instead. At Howling Desert, a monster appeared from the sand. It was called the Howling Thunder Scorpion. It was at level 6, with 400 health points, 110 attack, 20 defense, and its skill was Paralysis Thunder. Yuan crouched as he pulled out his sword. He charged at it and slashed it. He targeted its pedipalps and chopped it off. More Howling Thunder Scorpions appeared, and they surrounded him. He made a twirling move to make space between them. Eventually, the system notified that he had killed 60 Howling Thunder Scorpions in the area. His level increased to 8. He was pleased that his level increased to 8 straight away. Although it was a little bit troublesome collecting paralyzing grass, he did get some extra rewards. 2 days ago. An old man met up with him. The system detected a commission from alchemist Imur. The mission name was Imur's Commission. He was tasked to go to Howling Desert and collect 100 paralyzing grass and hand it to Imur. His deadline is 1 day. The mission grade was black metal. A paralyzing grass is a thunder elemental herb that grows in the desert. Yuan expected a special dungeon to open inside the main city area. The monsters inside the dungeon were all thunder elemental, and if he wants to clear it, he must have high thunder resistance. Thus, potions that provide high thunder resistance were in demand, making them cost thousands of gold coins in the market. During his previous life, some people made a fortune from the situation, and completing the mission of collecting paralyzing grass would get him the formula for making the thunder resistance potion. It was Imur's first day in Black Gravel Town, and after completing the mission, he will disappear completely. So it means that obtaining the formula was his only chance. He accepted the mission, which brings him to the present moment of battling the Howling Thunder Scorpion, since they were the ones protecting the paralyzing grass. They were at level 6, which does not impose any threat to him. Since he was done with the mission, he decided to level up his harvest skill proficiency to the max level along the way. Currently, his harvest skill was at black metal grade in level 2. The effect of that increased his harvesting speed and gives him 5% chance of harvesting a rare grade herb. Though this skill consumes 1 mental point and has a 3-second cooldown, his proficiency was at 120 out of 200. He decided to go deeper into the desert. But he stepped on something strange. He was curious what it was. Out of the blue, something appeared from underneath. It was a long tail that attacked him. He used a silver slash to counterattack, but he was surprised when he saw what it was. The creature was a mutated monster called Crystal Thunder Scorpion. The system warned him of the danger. He didn't expect that a mutant grade monster would appear in that place. The Crystal Thunder Scorpion is at level 10. It has 2,800 health points, 400 attack points, and 55 defense. It has several skills like Paralysis Thunder, Poison Spike Pierce, Ground Splitting Pincer, and Crystal Thunder. And although it was a bit tricky, Yuan planned to use it to officially sharpen his moon sword. He attacked it using his sword while emitting magic. His sword clashed in its body. But its shell has no gaps, so there was no opening available for him to crack the armor open. The boss monster activated the Paralysis Thunder. He used a Thunder Strike to counter it. But the Scorpion released another skill called Poison Spike Pierce. He got cautious of the incoming tail, so he stepped away from it. Fortunately, he was able to evade it quickly. He didn't expect that it would be that powerful. He decided to divert its attention instead, but it charges quickly at him despite its huge size. On top of that, it looked terrifying with its large pincers, sharp teeth, and tough armor. Yuan summoned his kobolds. They jumped out of the gate. The kobold dealt negative 200 damage, but it didn't turn into a critical damage. The scorpion made a loud noise as it used the earth-shattering claw skill. The ground beneath those zombies cave in. Yuan released his green flames. The scorpions were hit on different spots. It was his upgraded soul fire. He rained down fire on the scorpion. Then he summoned another follower. The whip had been wrapped around the scorpion's pedipalps. It was done by the kobold chieftains. Then the kobold boss gathered its strength and hit the scorpion's head with its hammer. Finally, it was a critical hit. The scorpion ran amok. A loud explosion followed. Yuan jumped up high and saw a gap in its armor. Hunter title had been detected, so his attack power increased by 10% along with critical hit chance and spell damage. He planned to smash through it and turn it into ashes. While he prepares for a powerful blow, the scorpion makes a loud screeching noise, then punched it to turn it into pieces. The scorpion felt the excruciating pain. The area was so chaotic. S&S flew everywhere and limited the visibility. But eventually, Yuan was informed by the system that he had defeated the mutant monster, evil Crystal Thunder Scorpion, and obtained 560 experience points. Then this monster became a Thunder Crystal Scorpion zombie. It retained all its stats. The system gave a detailed description of its skills. First is the paralyzing lightning technique. It was a lightning attack with 1-second paralysis. Then there's the penetrating poison sting, in which attacks using stinger with an added 10 points of poison damage. Another skill was earth-shattering strike. After attacking, it deals 250% of attack damage to the target. And lastly, the crystal thunderstorm, which shoots crystal fragments at the surrounding area, causing 100% of attack damage. Yuan noticed that several scorpions were approaching him. They run towards him really fast, and they surrounded him. But to him, their timing was perfect. He wanted to test out his new pet. Thunder Crystal Scorpion Zombie activated Crystal Thunderstorm. Using that single skill, several scorpions were damaged all at once. Yuan joined the battle too. He hit the vital points of those scorpions. And he does it continuously. His sword pierces through the gaps in their armor, defeating all those scorpions. The corpses of those scattered on the ground as the system notifies him that he reached level 10. His updated stats showed that he's at level 10, with 20 out of 100 in Hell's Gate, 32 strength, 28 constitution, 47 agility, 53 mental, and 152/5,159 experience points. He felt good after leveling up twice. He also received silver tier weapons. There was the lightning spear, foot guard, ring of paralysis, and Spectre's hand crossbow. All the loot he obtained from the treasure chest were silver tier, and selling them will definitely help in his family's situation. He watched the corpses. The system informed him that all monsters in the area have been eliminated. As a reward, he received a gold tier class skill book. He was surprised at what he saw. The book glowed brightly. It had a red eye at the center with 2 locks on the side. It was called the Dark Curse in gold tier, and it was a requirement for a necromancer. He felt so lucky to have received it. The skill book was automatically added to his memory database. The system congratulated him in obtaining the necromancer class's exclusive skill, which was called the Dark Curse. The Dark Curse was in gold tier, level 1. It deals 20% of the target's health as damage, or restores 20% of a zombie's health. It costs 100 mana, has 10 seconds cooldown, and 0 to 100 proficiency. The idea of restoring 20% of a zombie's health made him intrigued. He glanced behind him. He saw that his scorpion zombie was at 60% health. So he tried restoring it. A halo formed on the scorpion's head, and its health was restored at 80%. The scorpion roared loudly. Now that his warm-up was over, he decided to go back to the main city and find the cultist. But he felt something on his shoulders. He recognized what it was. The game turned blue, and he removed his helmet as his mother caught his attention. She informed him that his father had injured his back, and she wanted him to help her. He helped his dad sit on the couch. His mom told his dad that he's too old to act strong. She wished that he should have just called a technician over to fix the air conditioner. Now he injured his back instead. The dad replied that it was better to save the money, and he thought he could do it since he fixed the washing machine last week. He assured them that a small injury was nothing, and he'll be fine tomorrow. He also needs to pick up his daughter from school tomorrow. Wen left them in the living room. The next day, his parents were sleeping soundly until morning. They heard noises, so they got up and asked if it was Yuan. To their surprise, a brand new TV was being installed. The movers informed them that Yuan had bought all those new furniture, and they delivered them as fast as they could, so they just needed to confirm the receipt. The surprised look on their faces was phenomenal. They asked Yuan what was going on, but Yuan was at the gym training. He was on a treadmill when someone approached him. A woman asked if he's interested in signing up for their VIP package. He'll need to pay 1 year's fee in advance. He replied yes, and gave her his credit card. After selling some equipment that he didn't need, he refurbished their house and signed up for a family gym membership card. It was because his family also needs to train their body to help them when the immortal world comes. The woman blushed at the sight of him. She admired how energetic he still was even after exercising for so long, and she also liked his body. Her eyes widened when she saw his card, because it was a Supreme VIP card that was given only to those who have above 5 million in their bank account. At the same time, Yuan answered a call and informed their parents on the line that he earned some money from an esports competition. He encouraged them to just rest at home, and he'll pick up little Tan from school instead. The woman adored him even more since he was impressive for his age. At Shui Junior High School. School was over, so some students made plans to go to a cyber cafe. A blonde, long-haired student exited the school. She was Lin Tan. 2 girls were just behind her. One girl invited the other to come to her house because her brother brought her favorite strawberry cake. The other girl replied that she's envious of her for having such a brother. Tan low-key eavesdropped on them. It made her wonder if it really was enviable to have a brother, because all she could remember was her brother being addicted to video games. If she can choose, she'd rather not have a brother. Someone approached her saying that she's being arrogant. These men invited her to a date, but she rejected them all. They intimidated her and told her that she shouldn't reject them, especially when they personally came to invite her. Tan glared at those men and asked them what they're trying to do. The women behind her asked who they were. One guy invades her personal space while commenting that her skin looks juicy. She smacked his hand away while screaming at him to get away. She warned them that if they bother her again, she'll call the police. When she passed by him, he smacked her at her back. That made her fall on the ground. The arrogant man told her that she should be proud that he touched her. He was furious. She braced for another attack, but someone held the man's arm. She eventually opened her eyes and was surprised at what she saw. It was her brother, and he was exuding killing intent at this man who bullied his sister. She didn't expect to see him, and our boy's expression was dead serious. The man tried to punch Yuan using his other hand. The other bullies joined the fight, but Yuan skillfully dealt with them. His punches really packed a punch. His kick was full of power. He stomped on the man's face until it bled, then he towered over them. The fight attracted a lot of attention, so right after defeating those men, he told his sister that they will be going. Moments later, she asked him why he came there. It was a puzzle to her because he's just playing games all day, and yet he came to pick her up. He replied that their dad sprained his back and their mom was taking care of him. She got worried and asked if it was serious. He replied that it wasn't. After that conversation, they were just silent. She hadn't talked to him for so long that she felt awkward. She stole a glance of him, though, until the women behind them who called her class rep yelled out to her. They whispered at her saying that her brother was nice for picking her up from school, unlike her brother who was just a couch potato. They were curious why they had never heard of such a handsome and powerful brother. She was confused why they called him H and some. The people that they passed by also noticed Yuan's looks. They wondered if he's an alumni. Tan didn't expect that he would be popular. A cute pink-haired woman approached Yuan. Tan noticed his height and never realized that he was that tall. Then she noticed his muscles. She had no idea he was working out, but it made sense why he's good at fighting. She recalled his memory of him being stuck in his gadgets and could barely look after himself. It made her wonder why he suddenly changed. Tan said bye to her classmates. He was confused when he glanced at Yuan, because he was crouched down and was telling her to get on his back. She felt embarrassed and told him that she'll walk by herself. Naturally, she didn't want to be piggybacked in front of so many people. But he pulled her towards him, leaving her no choice as he lifts her up. He told her that her classmates already left, so she doesn't have to push herself if she can't walk. He thought she might have sprained her foot when she was pushed down earlier. She didn't expect that he'd find out. When they arrived home, he was still carrying her. Their parents saw them, and they had this worried expression on their faces. They still welcomed them back, though. After they ate, Yuan washed the dishes. His mother told Tan that he's like a different person now. His father agreed since he cooks, took care of the dishes, and even replaced the appliances in the house. Tan honestly doesn't know how to react to that. Their mother also whispered to Tan that their sibling bond looked like how it used to be. She thinks he's strange, and she still doubts if he really changed. He was all done with the dishes. So, he went back to his room first. She saw him going back to his room. She became disappointed as she realized that he's still the same game addict. But to her surprise, he went out again and gave her a bottle. It was an ointment that she needs to apply after she bathes. Then he went back to his room, told her he's going to play games, and she shouldn't come inside unless it's urgent. She held the bottle with both of her hands. She was evidently happy even when she tried to hide it. She replied that no one would want to go in his room anyways. Her smile widened. Then her mother pointed out that their relationship has improved. She inquired what happened at school. She replied that it was nothing, then she escaped to the bath. Yuan heard the conversation even through the door. Now that their family drama has been settled, he went to his game station and took his VR helmet and returned to the game. He was logged in at Main City, Essen Breeze City. He was about to hunt someone. He walked towards the city. At that time, a guard apprehended a man. The man tried to explain that it was just all a misunderstanding. But the guard insists that he will go to prison and confess his filthy lies. Yuan approached them. The guard sensed him, but when he looked around, no one was there. Yuan had hid behind the wall. The patrolmen on the street were very sensitive to criminals. After they have calculated the player's sin values, it will take 3 days to reset. And he had to go pick up his old friend at the church. The Godfather Lawrence baptized someone. It means that the soul was cleansed and his path will be guided by the holy light. While the baptism was ongoing, someone announced their presence, which they were from Rene Workhouse. Godfather Lawrence got distracted. Yuan told him that he heard that there was a person living with great illness there, and he wanted to cure him. Behind the doors, they left Douglas in the care of Yuan. The ill person was Douglas Vane. He was once a knight inside one of the West Desert ancient nation's strongest knighthood, Scorpion's Tail Knighthood. In Yuan's previous life when he got to level 15, he got a golden grade weapon through him. That is why he wanted to cure the poison in his body. Douglas looked at him. He saw that he was just at level 10. He mocked him, saying that even the patrolmen were on a higher level than him. Douglas coughed and spat out black liquid from his body. Along with that body substance was a lump. Yuan told him that the poison in his body was corroding his organs, and unless he accepted his treatment, he won't live longer than a month. Douglas replied that Yuan will need 1 kilogram of mackerel oil to cure the poison in his body, so if he's brave enough, he should go to Mud Gobi and try his luck. That triggered a mission called Douglas Request. This is a golden mission where he needs to obtain 1 kilogram of rotten mackerel oil to cure the poison inside Douglas's body. Yuan accepted it. At Mud Gobi. In the muddy water, there lives these menacing-looking fishes. There were lots of them. They looked like catfish with red eyes and reptile-like scales. These rotten mackerel were at elite grade in level 15. They have 3,500 health points, 500 attack, 45 defense, and skills like tail whip and gill curse. And their teeth were sharp. A guild targeted them. The rotten mackerel threw something at them, which caught them off guard, and several men fell on the muddy water. While in the water, 2 men got surrounded. The rotten mackerels activated tail whip, followed by a thundering roar. The blonde man lost his balance. The rotten mackerel took that as a chance to eat him. He accepted that he was doomed. So he just closed his eyes and braced himself. Unexpectedly, someone grabbed him and threw him out of harm's way. It was Yuan. Yuan let out a green flame that caught the rotten mackerel's attention, and he threw that green flame towards it and made it explode. Then he landed safely on the ground while dragging the blonde man with him. The blonde man couldn't believe that he was saved. He saw someone speedily pass by him. He called him his savior. Yuan attacked several rotten mackerel in the muddy water. He dealt negative 50 damage at each of them. It made those monsters angry. They started jumping out of the water, while roaring loudly. The blonde man screamed at his savior to watch out, but Yuan wasn't even spooked. He unleashed razor winds at them, and when he landed on the ground, he steadied his footing and took out his weapon. To him, they're simply just fish. So he charges at them and slashes them one after another. The blonde man witnessed it, and he couldn't believe that all 8 of them almost got killed just by 1 rotten mackerel, and yet Yuan injured 5 of them in just 1 attack. They acknowledged that he's strong, but just killing 1 rotten mackerel alone was impossible because those monsters' most powerful ability was their group attack skill. They turned pale at what they saw. The monsters released electricity from their body, and they were grouped up. It triggered green smoke that covers the whole area. But Yuan was alert. The system notified him that the rotten mackerel activated the group skill called Gill Curse. Enemies in range will be affected by the poison mist, chaos, hallucination, and debuffs applied. But Yuan refused to fall for those tricks again. Not in his current lifetime. He called the giant zombie wolf and made it use the skill Howl of the Hungry Wolf. It howled loudly, which stunned the rotten mackerels. Yuan saw the perfect timing to activate the sober mask, a single-use gas mask. Once he has it, he charges ahead. We went down on the muddy water and started slashing those monsters. They continuously received critical hits from him even when they tried to struggle. A pile of corpses keeps getting higher. One of the rotten mackerel bravely charges at Yuan, but it was too slow for him. He threw his sword at this rotten fish, and it released a powerful lightning as it pierced it. The blonde man was impressed. The mage beside him told him that it's too early to let his guard down, because when they checked, the rotten mackerel swarm was approaching. Yuan summoned his thunder zombie scorpion. It activated the skill called Crystal Thunder. Then it let out several spikes. It caused a full-scale explosion. The spikes pierced through the monsters, causing them excruciating pain. One of the bystanders panicked because it didn't work as he expected because of the difference in levels and quantity, which made it difficult to kill them all in one shot. Yuan got out of the muddy water, then told them that it wasn't his plan to kill them all. He wore his hood. Then those men's eyes widened when they saw that the direction the scorpion aimed was at the stomachs of all female rotten mackerels. And to their surprise, the male rotten mackerels were attacking each other. It was such a gruesome combat with the rotten mackerels devouring each other. Whenever female rotten mackerels die or lay eggs, they release a huge amount of muscatone, which makes male rotten mackerels go into more rage and start attacking anything within its range. Yuan took advantage of their characteristics and made them kill each other. One of those rotten mackerels dived deep in the muddy water to gain momentum. Then it leapt out of the water to attack Yuan. It was about to eat him. They were confused when they saw this female rotten mackerel was the same size as the male. Yuan was waiting for this timing. He summoned the zombie ghost wolves, and they all bit that monster. And just as he expected from a level 15 elite monster, it did not receive any damage even after sending out 6 zombie wolves to it, but it was enough to immobilize it. Yuan slashed it using his sword, and with that, he successfully killed an elite rotten mackerel. He slashed up its belly and several purple balls came out. He gathered it. It was all the eggs inside its belly. The bystanders were confused about what he's doing. He instructed the zombie ghost wolf to head to the rock in the middle. The zombie ghost wolf carried the head of the monster. It moved quickly. Then it dropped its head and roared loudly. He did that to lure the rotten mackerels. The stench caught the attention of those in the water. They hastily made their way towards it. They swam as fast as they could and hit the cliff, knocking themselves out. One guy remembered that mackerel eggs were extremely effective in luring male mackerels. He realized that Yuan's intention was to create pheromones and make the mackerel swarm into chaos. But Yuan knew it wasn't enough, so he summoned another follower. It was time for the kobolds to work. Those kobolds approached the monsters in the muddy water. Then they hammered them one by one. The men on the cliff noticed the blue venom sac inside the male mackerels. Yuan told them they were right. Those blue venom sacs grown inside the male mackerels were kind of like chilies. The poisonous gas and the fishy smell it releases will make the living fish swarm smell danger. The monsters growled loudly as the blue venom spread on the muddy water. They swam away since they wouldn't dare stay near it within a 5-meter radius. Basically, those monsters weren't completely immune to their own poison. Once poisoned, they will be sitting ducks. The blonde man exclaimed that the swarm was gone. It was then time for Yuan to claim the rewards. They were astonished that he had cleared the entire zone alone. The blonde man looked at him with admiration, to the point that he wished that he could be an ornament dangling from Yuan's legs. Yuan slashed those monsters, and his job was done. He went back to the top of the cliff. The system notified him that he had gained 12,000 points, which increased his level to level 11. It was thanks to his countless experiences in his previous life that he can speedrun the place. The mask played a significant role during the fight. He thinks that it was a shame that it cost 5 gold coins for a single use, but it was still worth it for him. He was able to gather 1 kilogram of rotten mackerel fish oil. This was produced from Mud Gobi's rotten mackerel's adipose gland, and was one of the materials used to make high-grade healing potions. It has a strong effect against poison and rot-type injuries, enabling necrotic tissues to grow back. Yuan almost forgot about the loot. It was the clown's noise in the silver tier. It was a protection in a ball-shaped nose piece made from rotten mackerel's skin. Pinching it would make squeaky noises, and it would also light up. It releases rotten mackerel hormones, causing a fear effect against medium and small-sized aquatic species. He was dumbfounded. He imagined wearing the clown nose, and he looked funny. There were just ridiculous drops at times, and he couldn't tell if it was just the game designer's sense of humor. The blonde man loved it, though. Plus, the fact that it lights up makes him excited. Yuan's expression says, "Are you serious?" But the blonde totally was into it. Yuan had to ask if he really liked that nose piece. He liked how it was so unique that he was willing to buy it regardless of how much it costs. One of the blonde man's friends apologized and explained that he had always been that way. Yuan simply gave it to him. He offered to pay him, but Yuan declined. In the blonde man's eyes, Yuan grew wings on his back because he was his angel. His friends also couldn't believe that there's someone willing to spend money on that kind of stuff. A few hours later, Yuan went back to the church. He poured the oil in Douglas's body. Douglas's body started to heal. He didn't expect Yuan to collect them all. With that, Yuan had completed the golden mission, Douglas's request. He obtained the mission reward Green Soul Blade. The Green Soul Blade was the first golden grade weapon he obtained in his previous life. Green Soul Blade in Golden Tier is a weapon which has plus 150 attack, plus 150 magic attack, plus 100 mental, and additional skills like Green Soul Curse. Green Soul Curse has 100 to 150 meter range. It causes 150% mental damage to the enemy. There was no cooldown, and it consumes 10 mana. Although the effects it gives are nothing much, the additional skill Green Soul Curse was very useful in combat, especially its hidden effect. Every time the curse hits, it will stack up Green Soul Curse. After 3 stacks, it deals an additional 250% mental damage. It was the green soul blade that helped Yuan become the first mage inside the West Desert. The system notified him that he obtained a reputation reward of plus 1,000 points in the main city area reputation. Plus 500 for Scorpion Tail Knighthood reputation. Although he's still neutral to them like in his previous life, it was enough for him to move around the main city area. He didn't expect that the system would flash another one. It states that due to his outstanding performance, he has obtained specific NPC affinity reward. Douglas's affinity increased by plus 10. Yuan was determined to make this time different from his past life. Douglas was grateful to him. Had he not helped him, he would have died in that bed in the next month. As a token of gratitude, he gave him information. Yuan was aware that it was the extra 10 affinity that triggered the hidden mission. Douglas told him that if he met someone named Quincy, he should stay away from him. Yuan told him that Quincy was his teacher. Douglas was surprised to hear that. He knew Yuan was trying to hide his class, but he's aware that he's a necromancer. Yuan got cautious as he interrogated him about how he knew about it. He hid his profile so well that Quincy shouldn't be able to tell it. Douglas explained that he was once a knight inside the Scorpion Tail Knighthood, and they reported directly to the king as they were responsible for all kinds of secret missions. One of those was to hunt down necromancers. For that, he had learned a special skill called darkness perception. Yuan asked about it. He explained that it was a unique skill of the Scorpion Tail Knighthood. Once a necromancer appears, it will sense them automatically. And the closer the necromancer was, the stronger the signal. Yuan confirmed if he already knew who he was. He didn't know before that there were actually skills specifically designed against necromancers. Douglas replied that he was poisoned, and his sense of perception was low. He didn't notice it at first, but when he got cured, that unique presence of the Lord of Darkness coming from Yuan can't be hidden anymore. Yuan asked about the Lord of Darkness. To explain that, he had to go back a long time. Inside the immortal world, the most well-known legend was that this world has a total of 5 gods. The god of light, god of moon shadow, god of nature, god of tide, and god of soul. But at the start, there was a 6th god, the Lord of Darkness. He was also called the King of Undead. He's the strongest god out of all 6 gods. Just because he's strong, the Lord of Darkness did whatever he wanted. He gifted his most loyal believers tremendous dark power and changed their class into necromancers and made them follow his orders. Under the Lord of Darkness's dominion, necromancers not only spread plagues, killing millions, they also turned all those who died into zombies, causing countless disasters. Thus, all nations started to boycott the Lord of Darkness. Temples that worshipped him were destroyed. Any records about him were also burned to ashes. Once a necromancer was found, they will be killed immediately. The class was then labeled a forbidden class by everyone. Douglas got poisoned in the first place because of a necromancer. The poison had tortured him for 10 years. Originally, he thought he could only wait for death, then he appeared. During Yuan's last life, he was just a mage. He didn't expect the legend to hide such a secret. Now he understood why the necromancer was a forbidden class. Luckily, he had been hiding profile the whole time. But things were getting complicated. He thought that solving the sin value problem would be enough for him to investigate for clues about the emblem in the main city area. But now, if he doesn't find a way to solve the presence of the Dark Lord emanating from his body, his class could be exposed at any time. He asked if there was a way to avoid the Scorpion Tail Knighthood's darkness perception. Douglas replied that it was possible through Quincy's help, but if he found out about Yuan's true identity, he's certain that he would kill him instantly. It was because a necromancer had killed Quincy's wife. That is exactly why he wanted him to stay away from him. Yuan was left speechless. Later on, he traverses the grave desert. The system recognized that he logged back in. 10 minutes ago. Douglas thought he was crazy for still wanting to meet Quincy when that guy loves to tear all necromancers to shreds. But Yuan had no other choice. If he carried the presence of the Lord of Darkness around, not just the main city, but going anywhere would be dangerous. That is why he must solve the problem. Suddenly, an arrow was released towards him. He sensed it, so he leapt back to avoid it. He landed on the ground safely and saw silhouettes of men charging towards him. It was the Bloodston Guild. They have been waiting around there for a few days, and they finally caught him. Yellow Soaring Dragon got ambushed by him last time, but this time, he brought 30 of his brothers. He was determined to kill Yuan. Yellow Soaring Tiger taunted him to scream out loud later when his head fell on the ground. Yuan was surrounded, a bug hover over them. It was a recording device that live-streamed the event. The Bloodstained Guild greeted their viewers and told them that they were lucky, since the performance they're going to show is how to split a person into individual pieces. The number of viewers suddenly increased. Those in the office even watched them. They couldn't believe that they're doing another newbie-crushing live stream. Most people outside watched through their phone. The live stream was 30 people against 1, so it made them curious what the guy did to get into trouble with the Bloodstained Guild like that. They noticed that he looked familiar. One of the women finds them handsome, but it was a shame that he'd be dying soon. Yuan told them that those 2 lapdogs were barely enough for him to even warm up. Since they came there to die, he won't hesitate to kill them again. People think he's crazy to say that. The leader of the guild ordered Yuan to kill Yuan. All of the guild members charged forward. The mages used electricity. The archers released their arrows too, and the melee fighters came at him all at the same time. The system detected the malicious attack. It gave him 15 minutes to fight back, and killing all attackers during that time limit doesn't increase his sin value. To Yuan, 15 minutes was enough for him to kill them 3 times. He summoned his zombie army to come out and play. They roared loudly. He mocked them, saying that it was just a small spark not worthy of being called thunder. He ordered the Thunder Scorpion to poison them. Yellow Soaring Dragon ordered the warriors to fall back and go into shield formation while the mages, B and Its, and archers opened fire. Their shield was up. The mages enhanced the powers of the guild members, and they created a huge thunderball and released it in Yuan's direction. It hit the several zombies in the zombie army. The archers fired their arrows. It continuously dealt damage to the wolves and kobolds. The viewers dropped because the summons were just easy kills for an elite team at level 8. They think that the kid couldn't last. Yellow Soaring Dragon was confident now. It didn't matter to him if Yuan could summon zombies, even big ones, because he could turn them into a pile of meat under their attack. Yellow Soaring Tiger, that he'll die. But Yuan was confident too. They couldn't believe that he's still smiling. The viewers saw something surprising. Yuan stomped his foot, and the ground shattered. The mages fell into the sinkhole. Then the kobolds started attacking. In one swift movement of a kobold, several mages were hit. They were ordered to retreat. The front lines couldn't hold the line. They were being overpowered. The guild leader and vice guild leader were taken aback. This increased the number of viewers. They got thrilled with this newbie's performance. The healers focused on cleansing the poison, then healing their guild members. But they were instantly wiped out when Yuan released his green fire at them. Yuan stood there confidently and unapologetically. The sound wave appeared behind him. He took out his sword and slashed the attacker. The attacker was surprised that he knew about the attack. He replied that he's not dumb enough to go invisible in the sand. Meanwhile, his scorpions and kobolds fought them. They realized that he was too strong when all their tanks died. Yellow Soaring Tiger was furious. He called them a bunch of trash. His veins popped out from anger. He attacked Yuan with the intention to kill him himself. Yuan just watched him come forward. Wind swirled in Yuan's sword. When he moved it, it released several wind monsters with sharp teeth in the air. Eventually, that formed into floating skulls. This meant that the green soul curse was activated. The floating skull surrounded the Yellow Soaring Tiger. He was confused about what it was. He froze in place as the skulls flew around him. Yuan had decided to execute him. He rushed towards him. It seemed like nothing happened, except that he passed by him. But he started the countdown. It made Yellow Soaring Tiger nervous. Then the explosion happened. Yuan's sword felt right on his hand. The viewers increased from 302 to 558. They criticized Yellow Soaring Tiger for talking big and ending up the one being split instead. This forced Yellow Soaring Tiger to exit the stream. The guild members begged to be saved. The Yellow Soaring Dragon was too stunned to move. It made him question if he's hallucinating. It had just been a few days, but Yuan, he described him as a demon from hell. Yuan glanced at him. He begged him not to kill him. Yuan pulled out his sword from the man's body. He approached Yellow Soaring Dragon and stabbed him at the crown of his head while telling him to get a taste of despair. Blood gushed out from his head, and the fight was over. Yuan stared at something. It was the recording bug. He almost forgot about it. He made it explode. And finally, the place was quiet again. Somewhere in a skyscraper, someone complained about the stream bug being blown up. They asked who it was. Someone knew who it was. He reported that it was the powerful guy that killed the giant wolf. They exchanged conversation on where they guy was, and eventually the mercenary guild has sent an S-class invitation. A man in a suit with a glass of wine thought about Yuan. Meanwhile, back at the immortal black gravel town. The mage instructor was drunk and asleep. Yuan entered the room. The mage instructor woke up and recognized Yuan. He told him that he won't teach him, especially that he has enough money so he's too lazy. But Yuan expressed that he wanted to talk to him. Then he canceled hiding his profession. It showed his full stats, even the forbidden profession of necromancer. Upon seeing that, a bottle had shattered. The mage instructor was furious when he found out that he was a necromancer. The barrels crashed. The mage instructor tried to recall how many years it had been, that a necromancer dares to appear in front of him. He unleashed all his powers. The lightning rained down on Yuan, but he disappeared in a flash. The mage instructor, Quincy, didn't expect him to be that fast. Yuan moved in front of him and pointed the sword at him. Yuan had the blade pointing at the center of Quincy's face when he asked him if they could talk. Quincy asked him what he wanted. Before he left the church earlier, Douglas gave him a hint as a payback. He was informed that under the Lord of Darkness's dominion, the immortal world was immersed in endless despair. To bring justice, Quincy, along with his wife, fought against the Lord of Darkness' most loyal subordinate. After a deadly battle, the necromancer died. But his wife, when trying to heal Quincy, got cursed by the necromancer. Her soul was corrupted by the darkness and lost all her memories, turning into a monster that can never reincarnate. In order to break the curse and save his wife, the only method was to vanquish her corrupted soul. But after the battle, Quincy can't even hold a sword. Everyone thought that Quincy would spend the rest of his life in sorrow, until one day he published a mysterious mission. If anyone can save his wife, the savior will obtain all his fortune, and the necromancer can obtain the method to crack dark sense, a treasure that he obtained from a dead necromancer. Quincy planned to use the reward as bait, saving his wife, and at the same time making the rest of the necromancers pay. But of all 158 people that accepted the mission, no one ever came back alive. Yuan demanded that Quincy tell him about the mission. Quincy agreed since he asked for it, and at the same time, he had also been waiting for someone to come and play a game with his dear wife. The system notification about Quincy's mission appeared. He was asked if he wanted to accept. The mission name was Wife's Dead Soul, and its content was to liberate Quincy's wife and lay her soul to rest. This was a silver grade mission with a time limit of 10 days. Yuan accepted it. Quincy wished him good luck and hoped that he'd be able to complete the mission. But deep inside, he knew that Yuan might not come back with his body still intact. At Black Gravel Town North Side Memorial for the Dead, Yuan walked the hallways. He used a night vision potion. The kobolds led the way while the scorpion had his back. The Memorial for the Dead has a total of 5 floors. All Black Gravel Town's dead NPCs were buried there. Suddenly, a corpse showed up, but before it reached him, the scorpion had already stabbed it using its tail. Yuan expected to encounter undead monsters like zombies, skeletons, and ghosts. The levels of those monsters grew higher with each floor. The first floor usually contains level 1 to 3 zombies, the second floor contains level 4 to 6 skeletons, and the third floor contains level 7 to 9 ghosts, and the fourth floor has a level 10 ghoul. Eventually, our boy reached another gate, as Yuan planned to head straight to the 4th floor. Noises echoed in that hallway. It can be heard throughout. This was on the 4th floor of the Memorial for the Dead. Yuan was cautious, especially after hearing the noises. A large devilish creature with a human body, horns, and spikes in the back crawled on the wall. They also had long tails. They were like large lizards on the walls. And they activated the skill hanging tier. They were ghouls in elite grade, level 10. They have 2,000 health points, 400 attack, 40 defense, and skills like rotting bite, wall climb, and hanging tear. They crawled down towards Yuan. Yuan summoned his followers. The scorpion used a ground-splitting pincer. Then it prepared its tail to hit all those ghouls. While Yuan also slashed the others. He attacked quickly and swiftly, making those ghouls groan in pain. After attacking several of them, those ghouls fell one after another. One injured ghoul made its way towards him. He almost forgot about it. So when he saw it, he crushed it. With that, his level increased to level 12. It ended faster than he expected. He felt that it was a shame that the Darkness Corpse Control spell can only revive corpses. It has no effect against undead-type monsters. Something appeared behind him. He got spooked a little. A beam was fired at him. Fortunately, he blocked it using his sword, but this left him confused, and he was being overpowered. The magic engulfed him, left him falling into an abyss. In that hall, there was a room with an altar. Behind that altar was a sculpture of a devil. The magic kept flowing, until Yuan reached the ground safely. He glanced behind him. He was surprised to see that the zone had changed. There was a hanging chained coffin with a woman inside. The woman had horns and claws. She was glad that he finally came. She made the coffin explode as she jumped down. She was pleased to have fresh blood. This creature was called the Resentful Lord, Lord Grade, level 18. She had 6,000 health points, 800 attack, 200 defense, and skills such as Death Bloom, Succubus Growl, Corpse Explosion. Seeing her made Yuan think that he's on the 5th floor. The Resentful Lord told him that she will tear him apart. When she attacked, Yuan lost his balance. Then she activated the Death Bloom. Her vines extended, but Yuan was able to evade it. He kept his distance from her. Then the vines let out some steam. He assumed it was corrosive poison. But that level of attack was useless against Yuan. He chopped off the vines. The vines were torn apart. Some dark mist tries to cover his sword. The woman's thigh had formed some cracks. It made her angry. She activated the Succubus Growl. At first, Yuan thought it was an AoE skill, but he realized that she's summoning something. A loud roar echoed in the room. As the closed windows rattled, Yuan watched carefully. A skeleton came out from a crack. Yuan got ready for combat. Several skeletons came out, which made him wonder if those were the Black Gravel Town NPCs that were buried there. Not only that, there were also challengers who daily Quincy's mission, and he thinks the Resentful Lord was going to revive them. The skeletons made a cracking sound. It was loud, so Yuan thought there were so many of them behind the doors. He didn't expect that boss could revive those skeletons. Our MC then summoned the kobolds. He made them block that door. He let the zombie army hold off those small fries first. His army positioned themselves at the door. Then he activated Bloodlust status. The kobold growled loudly, and they entered the Bloodlust status. Their eyes turned red. Then Yuan called the kobold leader and Crystal Thunder Scorpion, and made them attack. The Crystal Thunder Scorpion activated the ground-splitting pincers. The ground shattered. Then the kobold leader activated a heavy strike. The battle scene turned chaotic. The ground cracked. Even the ceiling shattered. The Resentful Lord saw it, and she evaded when it caved in. She was safe and sound. Yuan didn't expect it. Ghosts were spirit-type monsters. Their bodies can pass through physical objects and were immune to any physical attacks. But he knew they took double magic damage. He let out the floating skulls. It surrounded her. He used the green soul curse to attack her, but she wasn't scared. In fact, Yuan noticed that her speed suddenly increased, and the skeletons still tried to pass through the doors. He knew that they would break the defense and come out soon, so he needed to end the fight fast. He decided to restrict her movement. He took out an item. It was the paralysis ring in silver grade. It was a jewelry that increases health points by 100, magic by 100, also plus 15 agility and mental. It gives additional skills like paralysis toxin. This toxin increases 5% chance to paralyze the target for 3 seconds. He activated the additional skill paralysis toxin. He attacked her with the power of the ring. When she was hit, it activated the paralysis toxin. And that's not all. He threw the skull at her, and it made her crash on the wall. Yuan reached the ground safely, while she crashed again. His attacks weren't bad, and just as he thought, after being hit by the green soul curse once, her speed dropped. He activated a wolf howl. The wolf howled loudly. A green magic circle appeared beneath her and stunned her. Even if the stun time was only 5 seconds, it was enough for him. He kept slashing her while wondering how many attacks she could take. She received continuous low damage, and this infuriated her. The low damage attacks continued. She roared loudly as her body exuded electricity. Yuan was surprised that she activated the skill corpse explosion. A loud explosion happened. Smoke covered the area while the kobold and wolves got chopped off. The smoke was thick, and when it subsided, it revealed that Yuan covered himself with his summons and used them as a shield. It made him weak. He figured out that the Resentful Lord wanted the NPC zombies to collapse the entire bomb. At this point, his zombie army was already down to 1/3. It was a heavy loss for him. She had grown weak, too. So Yuan knew it was time to end her. The flying skulls charged towards her and hit her. She got hit on the chest. And with that, she entered a near-death state. Her health points dropped to 300. Then it became 200 health points. And it went down to 30 health points. until eventually her body disperses. The system congratulated Yuan for killing the resentful lord. He received 800 experience points for that. He stabled his footing and double-checked if everything was over. He glanced behind him, and there was the spirit of the woman thanking him. She smiled at him before she disappeared. Yuan extended his hand to her, and her soul became a beloved ring. That was the mission item, so it cannot be discarded nor be sold. This was the engagement ring given by Quincy to his wife. It was the symbol of their love. Yuan seemed disappointed that the drop reward was only a ring. But suddenly, a book appeared in front of him. He was surprised and curious. He didn't know that the corpse explosion skill the resentful ghost used was exclusive to the necromancer. He wondered if it was because the one who sealed her was the Lord of Darkness's servant. The skill book was automatically logged into his memory. It made his body glow brightly. The corpse explosion was at gold tier, level 1. It could explode a zombie, deal 60% health points of fire damage to nearby enemies. It costs 100 mana and has a 10-second cooldown. His proficiency in it was 0 out of 100. Although the skill will exhaust his zombie, its attack damage and range were not bad, and it was an additional surprise for him. He went back at Black Gravel Town. Quincy couldn't believe that he had the engagement ring that he gave her. Memories flooded his mind. But he knew a sealed soul has no memories, and only when it's free will it regain its memories and drop its most precious item. He asked if his wife wasn't in pain when she died. Yuan replied yes. He held on to the ring tightly, and cried as he felt the relief and imagined his wife's smiling face. He didn't expect a necromancer that he hated would be the one to help him fulfill his wish. No matter what, he vowed to remember his kindness. He took out an item because it was his turn to fulfill his promise. The item was a unique one, a dark crown. It was a helmet which makes sin value unviewable after equipping, and it hides darkness aura. But since it was a necromancer item, it couldn't be sold or destroyed. Although it doesn't have additional stats, being able to hide the sin value and darkness aura is what Yuan needed the most. With it, he will have no trouble with the Scorpion Tail Knighthood, and he can do whatever he wants inside the main city area. The system asked him if he wanted to equip it. He replied yes. A magic circle enveloped his chest, and he wore the crown. This progress made him one closer to the truth. After that, he headed to the Sandbreeze City. Inside this city, there were a lot of big and small unions, but the strongest ones were not more than 10. He looked at the list. The first on the list was the Berserk Union, followed by Mirror Flowers and Water Moons Union, then Stars Union, next was Hymn Union, fifth was the Eternal Union, and the last was the Black Tree Union. He wondered if the guy he was looking for was hiding among one of them. He knew that because he's a newbie who just entered the Sandbreeze City, it would be difficult to enter one of those big unions. So he would have to find an opportunity. Someone saw him and followed him. The stalker stopped on his tracks. Because to his surprise, Yuan was gone. Yuan appeared behind him and pointed a sword on his neck. Then he asked who he was. The guy replied something. It was then revealed that this guy was just so happy to find Yuan. He was about to hug him. But Yuan stepped aside, which made him fall. Yuan recognized him. The blonde man was happy that he recognized him. Yuan was cautious that he knew his name. The man replied yes. He recognized him when he saw him on the Bloodstained Guild's stream. Then he found clues about him from the thousands of comments. Then he spent 2 million upgrading the corporation's newest facial recognition system to make sure that it was him. Yuan was dumbfounded that he spent 2 million just to find him. The blonde man had no idea if that was a lot since the Han Corporation spends hundreds of millions just to test a system. Yuan knew about the Han Corporation. It was a trillion-dollar tech company that controls all high-tech technologies around the world. With that guy having that kind of background, it made him curious what other things he knew. He contemplated killing him right there and then. The blonde man truly adores Yuan, and he pestered him to team up with him for the S-Class hunt inside the Bloodscale Cave tomorrow. There was a rumor that someone found iron eating a lizard's nest. While he was talking, he tripped and fell in front of Yuan. Yuan was speechless. He told the guy to just leave and not follow him. He discarded the thought of killing because the guy was just a fool. The blonde man felt sad and agreed that a person like him who could solo the entire Bloodstained Guild won't need a team. He sighed, then expressed that for that hunt, the Black Tree Guild's third team will come pick up rookies, and if Yuan performs well, he might get a chance. Yuan remembered that the guild was 10th on the list. The blonde man felt sad that he had to try his luck alone. Yuan asked him when the hunt was. That made him perk up. Yuan asked again about the time of the hunt. He replied that it was at 8 in the morning. Then he confirmed if he was in. Yuan told him to call him by his name, Yuan. Then he told the blonde man that before they left, he had to make preparations. The blonde man got curious about it. Yuan went to the Vulture Thief Band campsite. A loud explosion happened. He expects the Lord to be in front. Yuan took a deep breath. He turned the Vulture Thief and zombies who were in level 12 into his followers. It has 1,600 health points, 250 attack points, 70 defense, and sickle throw and undead body. That got him ready for another fight. A few moments later, the enemies came out. It was another batch of vultures. They attacked him synchronously. Yuan made his army charge. The vultures and undead vultures fought each other. Then, the vultures attacked using the sickle throw skill. It was launched towards Yuan, but it only hit the ground, which made the vulture confused. And in a blink of an eye, Yuan had slashed this vulture from behind, and he successfully killed the Vulture Thief band leader. All 3 of them. Plus another 6 of those enemies. And 10 more were added to the list. Their bodies fell on the ground. After that, something confusing caught Yuan's attention. The vulture on the throne disappeared. Out of the blue, it appeared behind him. It was the Vulture Thief Band Lord, a Lord grade level 19, with 6,200 health points, 820 attack, defense 220, and skills like sickle throw, stealth, and backstab. It activated the skill backstab, while Yuan activated his corpse explosion skill. Several vultures held him down. Yuan glared at him and made him explode. The vulture made a loud sound. Yuan moved quickly. Towards the Vulture Thief Band Lord, he activated shadow gloves along the way. He clenched his fist and punched it, sending it to hell. The ground where it crashed shattered. The system notified him that he had killed the thief Vulture Lord. That helped him level up to level 13. The Dark Curse Golden was now in level 3. This deals damage equal to 20% of the enemy's health, or regenerates 20% of a zombie's health. It cost 60 mana and had 6-second cooldown. His proficiency is at 20 out of 300. Next was the Corpse Explosion in Golden Grade at level 2. The effect was to explode a zombie and deal area burn damage equal to 80% of the zombie's health. It cost 100 mana, had 10-second cooldown, and his proficiency was at +2 per 100. He read the stats carefully. Then the system asked if he wanted to use a skill upgrade scroll to upgrade the skill. He replied yes. When he read the stats again, he found that it wasn't bad. He used the scroll to upgrade Dark Curse once before, and now it was at level 3 along with the Corpse Explosion too. And, as for the zombie army, he had enough for now. There were 130 zombie monsters following him. A part of that army was the Vulture Thief Leader zombie, which was at level 15 with 3,500 health points, 500 attack, 100 defense, and skills such as sickle throw, stealth, and body of death. There was another Vulture Thief Leader zombie, but at level 19, with 6,200 health points, 820 attack, 220 defense, and skills such as sickle throw, stealth, body of death, and poison hands. The poison hands attack deals 20 extra poison damage. That new skill made him wonder if the Vulture Thief Lord gained that after being revived. When he revived the giant Death Wolf, it also obtained a new skill called Undead's Rage. It led him to wonder if reviving a Lord-class monster makes them gain an extra skill. It was interesting. He was notified that the hunting event would start in 2 hours. Now, he had already prepared. He was ready to go. A few hours later, our MC arrived at the Bloodscale Cave. He saw someone that was too bright, and this man was twirling around. Yuan asked if he's cosplaying as a Golden Knight statue. The blonde man explained that he spent 50 gold coins to hire a blacksmith to custom make the super armor. He assured him that he won't hold him back. But as he stood there proudly, his strap snapped, and his pants fell, leaving his underwear shown. They both feel awkward. Yuan responded that it was his first time seeing an armor that separates. To hide the embarrassment, the blonde man replied that the blacksmith said it was the newest design. He hurriedly lifted his pants. While doing so, the eye cover of his helmet covered his eyes, and he panicked because he couldn't see. He asked Yuan to help. As he moved carelessly, he bumped into someone. The eye cover was removed. Then he looked up to see who was in front of him. A bald, scary man towered over him. The man asked if he's fine. This person was the Black Tree Guild 3rd Squad squad leader, Zhao Kui. He was a warrior at level 15. The The blonde man felt spooked since it felt like he was stalked by a snake even though the guy was smiling at him. It made him wonder if he's hallucinating. Until someone grabbed him. Yuan told him to take off his stupid armor. Koi noticed Yuan. Yuan glared at him. He got annoyed that the kid dared to look at him like that. Someone called them and asked who was Hao Chung. He got the document with a picture of the guy and compared it with those in front of him. Then he recognized that it was the one in the weird armor. They laughed at him because of his weird armor that makes him look like he's cosplaying. Chung admitted that he's the person they're looking for. Then he acknowledged that they could be seniors from the Black Tree Guild. Then he introduced his friend to them. Someone took out their sword. The man pointed the sword at them while saying that they weren't interested in knowing the names of a rookie. They reminded him that they allowed him to bring an extra person, not because he paid double, but because their leader was kind enough to do so. Yuan bit his lip to hold it in. Kui told the guy to be friendlier to their new friends. The guy replied that he was just joking. He placed his sword back to its sheath. Then he reminded them not to get too cocky just because their leader spoke out for them. He advised them to cherish the chance. Chung replied that he'll work hard. The mage told them to gather up since he'll start the roll call. Chen removed his armor while expressing that he's nervous because he didn't think that they could work together with one of those big guilds. There were a lot of players, so Yuan wondered if they were all participating in the S-class hunting event. One of them was worried if the equipment was okay. He hoped that it wouldn't fail them. Yuan judged them to be newcomers to the main city area. Kui uttered that since everyone was there, they could begin their journey. He assured them that even the Grim Reaper would give them way when they saw the Black Tree Guild. So everything will be all right. Everyone followed him inside. While following them, Chung took out a red flag. He raised the flag like he's a tour guide. He told Yuan to hurry up since heard that there were shining slimes inside the cave. The guy in front of him wondered if he's just there to travel. Yuan followed them. He smelled something that excites him. The inside of the blood scale cave was dark. After walking for quite some time, they encountered a crossroad. They noticed how they hadn't met a single iron-eating lizard on their way there. It was a nocturnal animal, so they assumed that it must have been resting deep inside the cave somewhere. They asked the leader on which way they should take. Kui replied that it's best for them to move separately. They were shocked to hear that because it was dangerous. They were worried that they would encounter a level 16 elite. A mage silenced them and told them that their leader already walked the path once before to ensure their safety. He revealed to them that when they met them earlier, they had already finished their exploration. They newbies couldn't believe that the leader had already scouted the place. Kui told them that after their exploration that morning, between those 3 roads, the middle road was covered in iron-eating lizard pheromones, and the rest of the 2 roads were actually safe. But the more dangerous a place is, the higher the chance they have to find the rare items. Kui told them that to ensure the efficiency of this exploration and their safety, the Black Tree Guild would take the middle road, and the rest can take the other 2 roads. He asked them what they thought, while wearing a devilish grin on his face. The mage seconded that it was how Big Guild operates and everything had been planned carefully. And Kui was the 3rd squad leader of the Black Tree Guild, which makes him the highest leveled senior in there. Yuan replied that they will go left. It wasn't a problem for Kui. He asked if there's anyone else that wants to go with him. The newbies hesitated because one of them looked weird and unreliable. While the other one, Yuan, had his poker face on all the time, and he hides his level class, which led them to think that he's embarrassed of it. But one of them likes him because he's handsome. Since no one spoke up, Kui concluded that those 2 weren't popular. With that, he couldn't force anyone to do something, even though he's the leader. Yuan ignored him and just told Cheng to follow closely. Then they set off. Kui whispered that they were idiots. The stalagmites were wet and the water dripped. Yuan and Chung continued forward. Chung felt the temperature drop so fast that it felt weird, and he felt like he's being watched, and that presence kept growing stronger. Yuan was glad that he finally noticed. He actually knew that something was there. That surprised Chung because he believed Kui when he said that the road was safe. Yuan scoffed at him for trusting the guy too much. He reminded him that it was an S-class hunting event, and him bringing a lot of rookies means that he's using them as bait to scout the road. Chung wondered why he didn't say anything. He grabbed a slime, then threw it in front while replying that he wanted to see. There was just pitch-black space up ahead, until several red eyes appeared. What Yuan was interested in was the kind of creatures that he could hunt. The iron-eating lizards, elite grade in level 16, appeared. It has 3,300 health points, 440 attack, and 100 defense. It has skills like Iron Tail Whip and Uncorroding Shield. On the other roads, someone took out their weapon. It was the mage. He released a swirl of flames. to burn those iron-eating lizards, while the warriors used their swords to slash those monsters. They were confident in showing their skills to those fools. One of the guild members reported to the leader that the scapegoats were distracting the monsters for them, making the journey easier. He laughed at the thought that those fools believed that they had scouted the roads. He expects that when those rookies were almost dead, the iron-eating lizards should also be in low health by then. Then they'll come out to finish them off. So, it was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The monsters attacked Kui. He was prepared to face them. He hit those 3 monsters, one at a time. Then he commented that trash should always be at the bottom of the food chain. Meanwhile, Chung couldn't believe his eyes. The iron-eating lizard activated the skill Iron Tail Whip, which does a whip attack with an iron tail, dealing 60% attack damage. Then one of those lizards activated a sickle throw, which threw a sickle towards an enemy with a maximum range of 10 meters. The sickle does not return, though. It deals 60% attack damage. But the zombie army fought back. Some of them use stealth, which turns them invisible to reduce the chance of being discovered. While the others use backstab, they attack from behind, dealing 80% damage. Chung asked when he got so many zombies. He could tell that he's stronger than when he was at the Mud Gobi. He finds him really cool. Yuan reminded him that he said earlier that he was going to prepare. Chung was taken aback when he found out that he obtained so many monsters in a single day. The system notified him that he successfully killed 55 iron-eating lizards, elite grade. The fight was over and the efficiency wasn't bad. Chung felt envious. He wondered when he could be as strong as Yuan. The ground shook. He got worried and called Yuan. But he saw him turning those corpses into zombies, so he decided to assess the situation on his own. He didn't want to trouble him further, so he decided to do something for himself. He sensed the direction it was coming from. His footing was stable again, and the tremors were gone. Suddenly, something appeared from underneath him. That threw him on the ground. He turned pale when he saw it. It looked like a large tongue. Chung wasn't sure what it was, though. Then it attacked him. It shoved him to the ground. Then it backed off, to wrap around him. Then it moved towards the ground. He knows he's done for. Surprisingly, someone charges in. Yuan chopped off the tongue. He described it as a beast that hides in the bowels of the earth to gnaw on earth. He was annoyed that it showed off its tricks before him. The tongue bled heavily. Yuan grabbed Chung and started running. Chung coughed, and when he felt better, he expressed how certain he was that it was a big creature, so they had to hurry out. The ground shattered. Chung yelled that it's too late. The monster came out and roared loudly. This was the boss, an iron-eating lizard. He was at level 20. He had 6,300 health points, 850 attack, 280 defense. His skills were Iron Tail Sweep, Impenetrable Fortress, Infiltrate via Earth Veins, and Toxic Sand Breath. Chung turned pale because he was only expecting an elite-class iron-eating lizard, and yet there's a boss-class monster. He apologized to Yuan because he blamed himself that he faced it. He decided to hold off while he pulled back. Yuan finds it funny that it was a terrifying monster. He declared that it was his prey. The monster charged towards him. Yuan charges ahead too, and it surprised Chung. He ordered the vulture chief to use the scythe throw. 3 scythes were already sent towards the monster's way. The boss activated the skill Iron Tail Sweep. It hit the monster and created an opening. Our boy then used the Azure Spirit Seal. The monster exploded, and Yuan landed safely on the ground. The monster crawled towards him. Yuan noticed that the attack only caused it to have minor burns. The monster opened its wide mouth. It was actually activating the skill called Toxic Sand Breath. It attacks with high-pressure toxic sand. Upon impact, it causes continuous poison damage, with a loss of 3% to 10% of max health points every second, lasting for 5 seconds. The toxic sand scatters. Chung yelled for him to watch out. The ground melted. When the toxic sand hits the ground, it creates a hole. They learned that it was a highly concentrated corrosive attack. Yuan realized that fighting it was more difficult than he expected. The lizard attacked him using its tail. Yuan jumped to evade it. He wasn't worried, though. In fact, he was more excited for this fight. He summoned the Master of Eagles, and it came out holding 2 blades. It immediately attacked the lizard and hit its tail. Chung wondered if that was also Yuan's new followers. His eyes sparkled in adoration. He exclaimed that it was so majestic. The Eagle Chief went behind the lizard and activated the skill Backstab. But the lizard activated the skill Impenetrable Fortress. It increases defense power by 150% and lasts for 10 seconds. Then it whipped its tail. Yuan told his summon to watch out, but it still got hit and flew on the opposite side. Chung couldn't believe the monster's speed in reacting. It made him think that the monster has eyes on its back too. That idea made Yuan intrigued. He recalled the encounters with it. Lizards were creatures with a simple eye structure and rely mainly on changes in light to perceive their surroundings. So once the enemy stops moving, it's hard for them to distinguish it. But their motion vision is extremely excellent, and their herding and smell can pick up the slightest movement of the enemy. In fact, some types of lizards have infrared sensing organs and use them to detect the body heat of their enemies. Because of this, lizards' sensitivity to the movement paths of enemies was many times greater than that of humans. Yuan had realized that they had to entrap it to defeat it. He charges in and hits it on different parts of its body. He was excited to see if its scales were harder or if his fireballs were hotter. He continuously unleashed it. The lizard roared loudly as Yuan continuously hit it. His plan was to agitate the monster to keep its attention on him. Chung informed Yuan that he's in danger. Because the defense of a boss-class iron-eating iguana was too strong, so the fireballs didn't inflict any damage on it. So what he's doing was risky. But he stopped when he saw the direction Yuan was running into. It was towards the pile of undead. Yuan was close to the undead army when he found the right timing. He pivoted, which confused the lizard, which made it crash to the undead army. He teased this big dummy for not even knowing how to stop. It roared loudly. Then he activated the corpse explosion art, which triggered a sequence of explosions, and the lizard got caught up in it. With that, its armor has been breached. The lizard got furious. It roared loudly as it charged towards him. Yuan called the Master of Eagles to go to the left. It flew real fast. And they got into the position. They were on both sides of the lizard to exploit its weak point. Its eyes can't focus on enemies from the right and left sides simultaneously. The Master of Eagles prepared its weapon, a crossbow with 3 arrows, while the lizard gathers its power on its mouth. Yuan jumped up high, and the lizard watches him. He unleashed a powerful strike to send that lizard to hell. He had its weak point and cut off its tongue. Because of this, he had leveled up to level 14, and the lizard's body had fallen. 5 minutes later, the army's health points were restored by 85%. Yuan used the Dark Curse in Gold Tier Level 3. It inflicts 20% of the target's HP as damage, or restores 20% of an undead's HP. It consumes 60 mana and has a cooldown of 6 seconds. His proficiency at it was 200 out of 300. He realized that using the skill scroll again will directly raise Dark Curse to level 4. Although the corpse explosion art consumed a lot of undead, getting that creature made it all worth it. He stood in front of the iron-eating lizard master undead. It was at level 20 with 6,300 health points, 850 attack, 280 defense, and skills such as Iron Tail Lash, Fortress of Fortitude, Infiltrate via Earth Veins, Toxic Sand Breath, and Body of the Undead. From then on, he tasked this creature to be his shield. Suddenly, Chung screamed his name out loud. Chung's eyes sparkled with the amount of loot it dropped. He suggested counting it at once. But Yuan thinks it's unnecessary to be in such a hurry, since there are still some rats that haven't been killed yet. Meanwhile, in another part of the dungeon, a lizard was taken down. It was done by Kui. To him, it was an easy task. His guild members sang praises to him. They even said that with him around, even if a Lord-class monster came, it would have to kneel and just take a beating. And if they go now, they'll reap the fruits of their labor. Kui kicked the corpse. He told his members to move out because it was about time they collected the corpses. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed, and the ground shattered. Kui was furious that someone dared to ambush them. Yuan and Chung appeared. Yuan told them that he had come to collect corpses. The mage with Kui couldn't believe he's seeing them when they're supposed to be devoured by the swarms of iron-eating iguanas. Chung was furious that he still had the nerve to say that. He thought that the Black Tree Guild was a great, honorable, and fair guild, but he never expected it to use players as bait to clear dungeons. The swordsman with Kui answered that it didn't matter, because being a stepping stone for the glory of the Black Tree Guild should be an honor. Kui was annoyed that they made it out alive. He wondered if the cave they entered didn't have many iron-eating iguanas, and all the monsters gathered around those other unlucky bastards. Chung couldn't believe how shameless they were. Just the sight of Yuan made him more annoyed. He decided to get rid of them for good. He had no idea what ridiculous strike of luck was on their side, but he planned to end their lucky streak. He attacked them using his flail. Yuan told him Chung to get back. The flail hit the ground. Yuan retaliated. Kui blocked his sword using his flail. He was slightly pushed back, but he was able to remain balanced. Kui mocked him for his petty act. But then, our MC brought out his skulls. Kui had to evade those. It was so chaotic that the whole area had been covered in smoke and dust. Kui got cautious on where Yuan was. But he sensed him behind, and so he was able to use his shield from the incoming attack. He told him that he wasn't that oblivious. He had proven by experience that those who live by luck had to sleep with one eye open. Yuan was caught off guard when he disappeared. The smoke had dissipated and Kui wasn't there, but he suddenly appeared behind. Yuan sensed him and turned, and it seemed like he was hit by the flail. He was blasted away, and it caused a huge explosion. Ku told him that useless lives can end at any moment. Chung got worried for Yuan. The swordsman decided to take on Chung. But the mage also wanted to fight him. Kui didn't have much time to play with Yuan, so he approached him. He was about to punch him, but he was surprised. Yuan stopped his hand and then asked if he's the third leader of the Black Tree Guild. He was dumbfounded. Yuan grinned. He was pleased to have a rough idea of the true level of the 10th-ranked guild in the main city. He exudes aura from his body, and it was intimidating. Kui's hand trembled. He groaned when Yuan tightened his grip and glared at him. Then he was thrown on the ground. He crashed in the middle of his guild members. He realized he underestimated this bastard. He ordered his men to move and attack together. They all charged at the same time. Yuan commented that they all don't have anything noteworthy. The flail hit the ground. They were caught off guard that it didn't hit anything. Unbeknownst to them, 2 eagles were behind them. Then it grabbed the mage and the swordsman. And Kui saw an incoming attack. The skulls approached him, and he was hit while his men were pinned down. Yuan approached him. He told him to stop and warned him that if he kills him, the guild won't let him off, so he had to think about it carefully. Yuan glared at him, but something caught his attention. Chung clung to his leg. He was happy to see him alive because he was so worried earlier. Yuan told him to get away from him. Then he was back to his business. He lifted his sword. Then he responded that he knew Black Tree was not only arrogant to outsiders, but also harsh to its own members. So if Kui died and lost his level and the child's gear, the resulting losses would make them hold him accountable too, and Kai wouldn't be able to explain it to them. Kai admitted defeat and asked him what he should do, so he would leave him alone. Yuan wanted a list of high-ranking players in their guild specifying their classes, levels, and attributes. In his past life, the skills used by the first follower were strangely unheard of. No one knew what they were, nor how to face them. So he assumed that the guy was a very rare hidden class. His identity remained unknown till the very end. Kui asked why he wanted that. Yuan stabbed his hand, which made him scream loudly. Then he was asked again if he would write it or not. He willingly obliged. Yuan read the list, and it was complete. Though there were some special classes, none of them matched the attributes of the first follower. Kui asked if he'd let them go already. He told them he will. Kui thanked him. Unexpectedly, Yuan hit them. It was because he wanted them to get in trouble with the guild for harming many innocent players. He did that by taking their items. There was the moon-drenching Devil Hammer, silver grade, which has plus 45 attack power, plus 30 critical strike, plus 30 physical attack, and an attached skill called Stored Power Burst. Because of this skill, the first attack had an increased speed by 20%. There was also the Berserker Dance Sword, bronze grade, which had an attack power of plus 30 and plus 20 accuracy. And the last item was the Robe of Imminent Light, bronze grade, with plus 20 magic damage and plus 20 spiritual power. He saw a movement on his peripheral. Chung showed him that he got a treasure chest, and those guys hadn't even opened it yet. Yuan said he'd pick first, and the rest was for him, but Chung didn't want that. He offered to buy it from him, so he wouldn't take advantage of him. Yuan agreed. He realized there was nothing suitable for him there anyways. Chung promised to transfer the money to him right away. Soon after, he was notified that 54 gold coins had been deposited. As they made it outside the Molten Bloodscale Cavern in the daytime, Yuan was thinking about the gear. Just as he expected, it was just a silver tier, because even in the current version of the game, it was not easy to get hold of the gold tier. Chung wanted to say something to him, so he asked what it was. Apparently, Chung had heard that the Black Tree Guild group was very vengeful. If they can't win in the game, they take revenge on people in real life. He suggested having his bodyguards follow him. Yuan thanked him for the warning, but he knew how to deal with those disgusting insects. In the real world, Yuan took off his gaming helmet and got called to eat. He He responded that he's on his way down. He opened the door to his bedroom and was surprised by the robot-looking person in suit in front of him. He flinched. There's been a moment of awkward silence. Then, the man took the gaming helmet off. Apparently, it was just his father trying on the helmet that he uses to play. Lin asked if it was broken. He told his dad that it's not broken, but he got curious why he suddenly bought a gaming helmet. His dad replied that his mother found it while she was cleaning Tan's bedroom. In Yuan's past life, around that time, Tan had awakened her hidden class. His mother called them to come and eat. It was getting late. While at the table, his mom revealed that despite their dad not understanding those new technologies, he still wanted to find a common topic with them. Apparently, his dad spent the whole afternoon trying to figure out the helmet, and yet he couldn't even turn it on. His dad was embarrassed and tried to deny it. He reasoned that he was just worried that his mother damaged it while cleaning, so he was just checking it. Yuan had thought to use his in-game resources to repay them when they entered the world of eternity, and when the cataclysmic change happens, they would have the ability to protect themselves. So he replied to them that the game wasn't difficult. He planned to buy them 2 helmets tomorrow and encouraged his mom to join too. She told him not to waste money. He told her not to worry about it. Then he asked if Tan wasn't back yet. It was Friday, so they assumed she's with her friends. His mother was about to call her, but he insisted that he would do it instead. But the user he called was unavailable. He knew that even if her sister didn't want to answer his call, she would still send a message out of courtesy and wouldn't completely ignore him. Since there was no answer, her mother assumed that Tan ate outside, so she decided that they won't wait for her. But Yuan stood up and told them to eat first because he's going out to buy some things, and he couldn't wait until later because the store might close. His mother got worried that the food would get cold, but Lin told her to just let him go. Their son and daughter used to be attached to the hip, but they noticed that they grew some distance, so they wanted them to communicate more. Yuan wasn't good at expressing himself, but he's still a big brother. Wan descended their staircase, reminiscing about his past life. Tan would come home badly hurt. He saw her come in while he was getting instant noodles. He asked her what was wrong, but she just walked past him. Then she told him that it was none of his business. She also warned him not to call the police nor inform their parents. Then she shut the door of her room. It left him speechless. In his past life, after playing Eternity, she quickly awakened her hidden class, but she also endured a lot of what she shouldn't endure. All of it began with the appearance of a mysterious organization called the System Organization. It was a mysterious group founded by 9 Heavenly Chosen, and only the Heavenly Chosen were qualified to join the system. Among them, there was an existence called the Prophet, which can sense the Heavenly Chosen in reality. He sends members to invite them to join the system, and at a terrifying speed, their power became invincible in the game. Not only that, but their influence on the real world also grew stronger. Although their actions were mysterious and unpredictable, they did some good to maintain the stability of society, which makes them perplexing. After Tan was invited to join them, she often carried out some dangerous missions, but she never mentioned anything about the system organization at home. He hoped this time it wasn't them. He opened the main door with a serious expression on his face. Even if they were involved this time, he was determined. He won't let his little sister get involved in that matter again. Yan walked down the streets until he spotted something. At a coffee shop, he hid behind a pillar. As he watched Tan talk to some guys from the system organization, they're too far away so he can't hear them and he can't afford to be suspicious. He decided to use his stealth skill but had to focus since he hadn't used it for quite some time, and his stealth skill was at level 3 so it only lasted for 5 minutes. He entered the store. He stopped near their table. Tan sat across Xiaopan and Hao Chen. Hao Chen let Tan decide to join them or not, but he pointed out that this wasn't just for the organization's sake, because when catastrophe comes in 3 years, she could be with them defending the world. They were all silent after that. Yuan watched them. Xiaopan tried to lighten the mood because it looked like he scared her, but Chen insisted that it was a serious matter, and it was for her own good, too. He was talking, then he stopped mid-sentence. He was looking right into Yuan, his brows furrowed. Yuan was quite shocked. Chen touched his ring and activated the skill called Dispel. It scanned the cafe. Yuan was informed that the stealth effect would be dispelled after the countdown. Chen watched him, but nothing showed up after the dispel was activated, so he just pretended to order a cold herbal tea to go. The owner served the drink. While Yuan was ducked behind the counter as the stealth was dispelled, he realized that the man used the dispel skill attached to the ring, but fortunately for him, the stealth dispel had a 4-second delay. The man had his drink. Then he gave his calling card to Tan in the hopes that she would join them. He emphasized that a person who holds justice in their heart would not stand idly in the face of catastrophe. He instructed her to call him once she made her decision. Tan accepted the card. Pan waved goodbye and told her that he'll be waiting. Yuen activated stealth again, and then he followed them. But when he came out of the cafe, they had disappeared. He searched for them. But someone had thrown a cup of coffee in his path. He was surprised. It was done on purpose. Because Chen had felt something suspicious. Yuan was informed that stealth was about to end in 3 seconds, and it would happen in front of those two. Those two waited, but no one showed up. Chen thought that he had just been too sensitive lately. Pan told him that he's too tense, then he asked if he thought that the girl would join them. He replied that according to prophecy, she would come sooner or later. They believed it, so they expected her to come sooner or later. But Pan was more interested in knowing which girl he'd be in an eternal relationship with. Chen advised him to survive the coming catastrophe first before thinking about that. Yuen watched them from a branch of a tree. The group was tougher than he imagined. He knew that if he interacted with them too much and his forbidden ability got exposed, he'd have no place in the immortal world, so he had to be careful. He decided to make his move too. Meanwhile, Tan checked the calling card. She was in deep thought while walking the streets. She was surprised to see Yuen, so she asked why he was there. He replied that he just happened to have bought some things. He knew she hadn't eaten yet. She replied that it was fine. He told her that it's late, so they shouldn't make their mother prepare food for them. He bought some food and invited her to get anything she liked. She couldn't believe him since he couldn't even look after himself and yet acts that way. He told her that they should head back. She just stood there, with a puzzled expression. Eventually, they arrived home. Their mother asked Tan if she had eaten because if not, she would heat it up for her. Tan replied that she'd rather rest. Yuan hadn't eaten either, so she offered to make it for them. But Tan hid in her room. She was melancholic and confused on what's happening. Ever since she started playing the game, all sorts of strange and wonderful things had started happening. In the game, she faced a flying mantis. Her friend told her to run while she distracts the monsters. This long-bladed mantis is a normal monster at level 5 with 300 health points, 50 attack, and 8 defense. It had the Windblade dance skill, which makes scythes deal double damage. Her friend got hurt. She decided to let her leave first while she blocked the monster. She was a frontline, so couldn't just run away and leave her behind. She got ready to fight the swarm. The mantis attacked and she blocked it with her sword, but the other one sneaked behind her and had hit her back, which then made her activate her hidden ability. It awakened in the midst of the battle. She continued to fight. She slashed those mantis into pieces and had successfully defeated them. Her hidden ability was the Sword of Dawn. Tan had felt the changes in her real body. She wondered if she could protect everyone when disaster strikes, just like what the man said. And even if the power was incapable of stopping the disaster, she's uncertain if others have the chance to survive. So she realized that whether she joins them or not, she had to become stronger as quickly as possible if she wanted to protect them. She looked at their family picture. Meanwhile, Yuan was doing the same too as he realized that they must move to a new house as soon as possible so he can focus his energy on the game and doesn't need to always be on guard. On top of that, he wanted his family to have a better life too. The next day, he visited a high-rise building. The staff asked if he was there to check out some houses. He requested to see a luxury villa with a high security protection. The staff wondered if he really had the money since he looked so young. She asked him if he had checked the prices of the residential complexes in the area. He replied that he hasn't and told her that his card should be enough. She received the card and was elated to see that it was an exclusive VIP card that requires a deposit of at least tens of millions. She called him a god of wealth. The woman enthusiastically assisted him, and later on, he brought his parents to their new home. It was an extravagant home with a swimming pool. And the bed was big too. They couldn't believe it. They got worried about the mortgage payments, so they suggested they just go back. They didn't want to pressure him. Yuan explained that there was no mortgage since he bought it with cash from previous competition rewards plus his income from the game. He urged them to live with peace of mind. Aside from that, he'd be living in the house next door and would focus on playing games during normal times. They never imagined they'd be able to live in a villa. It was all thanks to their son. To them, he grew up fast and can now stand up on his own. That made Yuan smile. Beside the convenience store, Yuan walked around. Now that he had peace of mind, when it comes to security, the next step was to guide his parents to play the game, so they would be more cautious of the appearance of the system organization. But then, something caught his attention. Some guys came out of the alley. Apparently, they had been waiting to ambush him. They admitted that they had a difficult time looking for him. It was Kui and his men. Instantly, Kui attacked him and challenged him to fight in reality too. Kui's men were determined to kill him for humiliating their master. Yuan finds them slow. He activated his stealth skill. The man who attacked him was surprised that he disappeared. Then he showed up in front of Kui and hit him in the stomach. He also sent his men flying. Kui was uncertain if Yuan was a human or if he was a ghost. He got terrified when the metal rod landed on the side of his head. It appears to Yuan that he doesn't value his life. He's really pissed with them. Kui started begging for his life, then he bargained to tell him about a hidden quest if he spared him. Yuan urged him to talk. Kui told him to find a blacksmith named Huoqian in the main city and carry out the ore delivery quest. And when the favorability reaches the required level, he will craft him a piece of golden gear. In his previous life, someone had gotten a golden gear quickly. It was said, at that time, that it was related to an obscure NPC, so he could tell that the man wasn't lying to him. After learning about the quest, he intimidated him by squeezing the metal rod. He warned him not to do anything foolish again. He warned him that he had ways to deal with him both in and out of the game, and if he dared to do anything to his family. He broke the metal rod to demonstrate what Kui's fate would be. Kui turned pale and replied that he understood. At the main city of the Western Desert, specifically in the Moonlight Night Tavern, a few men clinked their beer glasses and hot food was served. The old man was in disbelief that the young man in front of him could provide him with 100 pieces of ore. He had no idea how this nice and clean kid that doesn't look like he worked in a min would pull it off, but if he does, he promised to craft him a weapon for free. With this, Yuan had verified that Kui wasn't lying. His next step was to go to the mine. After their conversation, he saw a woman being harassed. She was gorgeous. She yelled at the man not to touch her. Yuan watched them. The man got annoyed at him for staring and threatened to gouge his eyes out. Yuan attacked the man with his powers while commenting that he's an ignorant person who doesn't value his life. The woman thanked him and invited him for a drink, but he refused her and left. She followed him and tripped. Yuan noticed her and caught her before she hit the ground. The drunk woman assumed that he wanted to dance. Then she fell asleep in that position. She was a nuisance. He brought her to a room, then settled her on a bed and left. After that, he went to the poisonous serpent mine. He called some kobolds to mine. At the moment, he has 12 kobolds and they're suited for mining, so he expects to gather a decent amount in a short time. But monsters showed up. They were raging moles at level 10. They have 1,200 health points, 70 attack, and 15 defense. Their skill was Raging Bite, which launches consecutive attacks on the target and increases damage by plus 10%. He brought out the scorpion to attack them. The scorpion hit those moles with its tail, and those moles dropped dead. Collecting a variety of monsters would improve his tactics and make them more comprehensive. He absorbed the souls of those moles. Unexpectedly, there was an explosion. He wondered what happened. A mage came out running while a large mole chased after him. This was the boss Raging Mole at level 16. It has 3,800 health points, 300 attack, 150 defense, and skills such as Raging Chase and Sharp Sense of Smell. He saw that someone had deliberately lurked the monsters and got ready to fight. The priest launched an attack towards Yuan. Yuan tried to evade it, but it followed him, so he thought it was a target locking skill, but he realized that it wasn't. Then the system informed him that last year's sun has activated the skill Art of Holy Shield on him. The Art of the Holy Shield increases the friendly target's defense by 20 points, and it lasts for 60 seconds. He realized it was a support skill from a priest. Meanwhile, the warrior mining on the side noticed that the iron ore disappeared. Then he saw the priest being chased by the boss Raging Mole. He recognized that it was the priest from the Super Iron Triangle. It made him wonder why he's alone. He took advantage of the situation and released a flying bug. The priest breathes heavily as he tries to explain that he didn't mean to lure the monster and he'd bear the responsibility for his actions. He urged Yuan to run quickly. The event was being live-streamed and it garnered 15 viewers. The comments mocked the priests. Yuan was impressed that even in that situation, the priest was still so loyal. Since he spent a lot of money buying the villa, he gladly took on the boss that willingly came to him. The viewer count increased. They recognized Yuan, the great master who defeated the world boss alone, which made them invested to watch. The boss Raging Mole tries to hit the priest with its claws. It also tried to step on him, but Yuan blocked the foot. The priest didn't expect that. Meanwhile, Kui watched the live stream. He commented that it was nothing to be ashamed of to be defeated by a monster like that. Some people walked by while talking about the live stream. They got annoyed that people won't stop praising this great master Lin Yuan. One of them argued that no one can rival their chairman when it comes to skill. Kui knew them. It was Nguyen from the Rage Guild. And from their conversation, he could tell that he watched the live stream too. He told them that the Raging God was only benefiting from his guild and his class, but for real skills, no one was better than the great master. Nguyen heard that and got annoyed. He dared him to say that again. Kui let Nguyen know that he knew him and showed him that people in the comments were praising the great master too. He added that there were comments saying that the chairman of the #1 guild should have stepped down long ago. Nguyen pointed his sword at him and asked who he was. Kui told him that there's no use venting his anger on him when everyone was saying that. But he also reminded him that Raging God was very humble. Then he suggested that in the end, when the heroes are gone, the villains would take the stage. Nguyen asked if the kid was still on livestream. He replied yes, and they're still in the mine. Nguyen set out towards the mine, then he ordered all his guild members that were online to follow him. Meanwhile, Yuan slashed the boss Raging Mole. He told the priest that he could go since the boss was focused on him already. The boss Raging Mole attacked him. When its claws hit the ground, debris flew everywhere. Fortunately, Yuan was able to dodge the attack. Then he attacked it. It was directly hit. The live stream viewers' count rose to 1,297. They sang praises for Yuan. Some even tries to learn from his moves. The boss Raging Mole got furious and chased after him. Yuan's undead wolves attacked it while it was running. They were able to immobilize it. After that, Yuan stopped running and told the boss Raging Mole that focusing on what's front and ignoring what's behind could cost him dearly. But it's something that this boss Raging Mole doesn't need to learn. He stabbed its eyeballs. This monster didn't even have the time to recover. The wolves kept on attacking. Then, one of the undead kobolds came out and smashed the head of the boss Raging Mole. After that, it was Yuan's turn. He clenched his fist and punched the boss Raging Mole. He was so strong that it was hard to tell which of them was the real boss. The viewers were mesmerized. The system congratulated him for killing the boss Raging Mole, and his level had risen to level 15. Also, he had obtained the gear called Stalker's Dagger and Boots of Agility. Stalker's Dagger was a silver-grade weapon with plus 20 attack power, plus 5 speed, plus 25 agility, and the attached skill with it was Stalker's Blade. With Stalker's Blade, after every attack, the next attack was empowered, and attack speed increases by 10%. Another item was the Boots of Agility, with plus 30 agility, plus 5 movement speed, and an attached skill called Swift Run. Swift Run allows his speed to increase by 10% in a non-combat state. After seeing Yuan defeat the boss Raging Mole, the priest realized he was the one who single-handedly conquered the deadly giant wolf. He suggested that they add each other as friends. He offered to support him in the future, and they would be invincible. Yuan replied that he got the wrong person and left. The priest knew that was impossible because he watched his video over and over again. He was certain he would recognize him even if he was turned into ashes. When their backs were turned, a fireball was thrown at them. Yuan immediately turned and slashed it. There was a crowd at the entrance of the cave. It was Nguyen with the guild members. He heard their conversation and suggested that he'll turn Yuan into ash and see if the priest could still recognize him. Some of the guild members thought they were over the top for a scum like that. But one of them believes it was just right because it was the great master. They started the live stream to show the people the consequences of daring to provoke the Rage Guild. They wanted everyone to remember that their leader, the Raging God, was the strongest player in the Western sector. Yuan realized that the members of the Rage Guild wanted to defeat him to make a name for themselves. But to him, it was like gears were being handed to him on a silver platter. The system confirmed the status of the hostile encirclement. He had a time limit of 15 minutes to counterattack. Killing attackers within the time limit will not be counted towards the sin value. Yuan was startled with the priest's movement. The priest expressed that he has waited for a long time to fight side by side with a partner. For the sake of their bonds, he vowed to protect those who matter to him. In Yuan's head, he wondered who the close friend was. Yuan told him that it was enough that he would step aside a little. Noyan had something to say to them, but Yuan had already hit him. His slap was strong enough to send Noyan flying. The guild members were surprised to see Noyan crash on the cave wall. At this point, there were already 5,630 viewers on the live stream. They couldn't believe that the fight hadn't started yet, and Noyan had already been slapped in the face. Some people think the guild would just humiliate themselves. Noyan was so angry at him. He called him a dog that no guild wants, and yet he dared to raise his hand on him. He called his men to finish him. Noyan was in front with a large shield and a spear. He ordered the warriors to charge while the mages and the priests were in the back to wear Yuan down, and archers were to surround him. The priest doesn't think Yuan could handle it alone. Yuan realized that the scum had some coordination. He targeted their back rows first. He activated stealth. When they saw that he disappeared, the mages dispel quickly. They thought they did well. But it was too late. Yuan was already behind them, and had slashed them already. Noyan tried to boost his guild's morale by telling them that Yuan had just finished fighting the boss, so his health must be low and his mana was almost empty. Also, they had an advantage with their numbers. He ordered to charge ahead. The viewers were impressed how a group ganged up on one person in such a refined way. One of them commented that if the Great Master turned the tables on the Rage Guild, they wouldn't have a place to hide their face. Noyan told the guild members that if they succeed, they would receive money according to the value of damage. And there would be no limit to the money. That got them more motivated to kill him. Fireball was released towards Yuan, while warriors attacked him. But he ended those warriors in just one slash, and then he sidestepped to evade the fireball. The mine's passages were narrow, so he couldn't call a lot of undead. But fortunately, eliminating them in one go wasn't difficult either. More fireballs rained on him, an explosion happened. The viewers assumed that he lost. But there was a shadow that leapt from the explosion. The warriors tried to chase after him. They assumed it would be easier because he's already exhausted. Noyan ordered them not to let him escape. He was already looking forward to catching him. He didn't know that Yuan was actually on the ceiling, waiting for the chance, until he noticed him. But he was caught off guard. Yuan had kicked his face. He lost a tooth and his nose bled, and he crashed on the ground. He thinks it was despicable to launch a surprise attack like that. Yuan grabbed his head and pointed the blade at his neck. Noyan shouted for his guild members to come quickly. Yuan told them they won't be coming back. Then Yuan asked him if his obsessed master won't blame him for driving the first squad members to their deaths. Meanwhile, the members that chased after him were confused when they saw the undead wolves. The wolves approached them, and then the corpse explosion art was activated. A loud explosion happened, and Noyan couldn't believe what Yuan just did. Yuan lifted his sword and told him to go and ask them himself. At this point, there were already more than 10,000 viewers. They watched Yuan behead Noyan. Some called Noyan a fool. Most people sang praises for Yuan's moves. A weapon came out of Noyan's body. It was an unexpected bonus. Yuan hurriedly packed up all the gear to leave because the place would be crowded with people soon. The item he received was the bloodthirsty dual blades, a gold-tier weapon. It has plus 50 physical attack, plus 20 speed, plus 30 critical strike, and an attached skill called lifesteal. This converts 10% of the damage dealt into personal health points. After that, Yuan went back to the blacksmith. Huoqian took back what he said before. He realized that he was truly a competent kid. He hoped for him to visit him often in the future because he still needed a lot of ores. With that, the affection with the blacksmith increased by plus 100, and he became his friend. The blacksmith can collect a maximum of 100 iron ores per day, so it looked like a long-term task, but the ores he mined was enough to last a month. The gear dropped by the Rage Guild was quite a lot too. Selling it to Han Qing would bring him trouble, so Yuan thought to sell it to individual players, so it would be faster though. It would be troublesome. He also thought that searching for the first follower through the guild was too passive, so he started with the clues that he already has. He remembered that one of the first follower's henchmen in his past life had the ability to control snakes, so it might be related to the clue to find the hidden serpent civilization in the sewers. He was hoping that the key to the solution was there. He moved at nighttime. He walked at the sewers. The content of the quest he took from Officer Shaw II was to kill 30 rat spirits. It was an ordinary quest, but there's a hidden dungeon in the sewers. And that was the lair of the serpent demon. It was a hidden dungeon that could drop the seed of the flesh and blood. It was a rare item that can permanently raise attributes. And the hidden dungeon has a limited number of attempts per week. Once the news spreads, everyone would fight over it. so he must use the undead corpses to occupy the entrance of the hidden dungeon in advance. And as long as he finds the room with snakes, it was already the identifier for the location of the hidden dungeon. It was the only dungeon he knew that was related to snakes in the sewers. He found the room. A sudden movement made the water splash all around. A snake came out. He could tell something was not right. He questioned if the snakes in the lair of the serpent demon were really that big. Turns out, it was an underworld king serpent in level 60. Its stats were unknown. The underworld king serpent chased him. He was curious if that was also a product of the serpent men civilization. He was intrigued on why its level was so high. He was cautious not to let him touch him even once, otherwise he may die and lose his level and equipment. That would be a huge loss. Yuan activated stealth, but he realized it was completely useless. He decided to utilize the terrain instead. He glanced at the underworld king serpent, but it continued to chase him. Its movements wreaked havoc and made the walls and the ground shattered. One boulder was about to fall on Yuan, and he couldn't block it at all. He summoned his thunder scorpion. He used it to buy him some time. He planned to deal with this serpent using his magic. But he also knew that the scorpion couldn't deal with that serpent. But the serpent just slithered away from it. And in an instant, it was just right behind Yuan. At this point, he was already panting. He saw there was a small hole on the roof. The serpent moved and raised its head. Fortunately, at that point, Yuan had already made it through the hole. He checked the hole and saw the eye of the serpent watching him. He immediately moved away from it. He knew that even that monster can't cause trouble there, because that place was the imperial palace of the Western Desert, guarded by the Great Master, protector of the state. Every monster that approaches would be easily crushed, without any exception. Underneath that, the serpent hissed loudly. The Serpent Men civilization and the Western Desert Kingdom had a blood feud. The strength of the Western Desert Kingdom completely crushed the Serpent Men civilization, which pushed a part of them to secretly move underground and conspire for revenge. And whenever any beast, spirit, or monster sets foot on the land of the Imperial Palace, the Great Master, protector of the state, annihilates it without the slightest hesitation. He admits that the serpent was strong, but it was no match for the Great Master at all. It led Yuan to think that the lair of the serpent demon was located near that monster. He believed that following that thread would lead to some results. But to prevent recurrence of such a situation, he decided to visit the market to check if there's a serpent luring potion that attracts low-rank serpent monsters. That potion only attracts low-rank serpent monsters and would prevent him from running into such a huge monster again. Inside the city, he successfully purchased the serpent luring potion. It can spread a special scent to attract low-rank serpent monsters to approach. Suddenly, someone approached him and told him that he roamed the entire Sandstorm City just to search for his shadow. This man hoped that he was well while he was absent. Yuan recognized him. He was the person that the boss Raging Mole chased. The priest told him to add him since it wasn't easy to find him in the vast map. Yuan asked him if he had some business. This priest goes by the name Son of a Bygone Year, requested to be his friend. He replied that his business was to fight monsters together. Yuan refused him because he had some other things to do. The persistent priest blocked his path and invited him to join the super trio, so he could be with him, Leng Yue and Xing Hen, and they would become the super quartet. Yuan remembered from his past that Leng Yue was the leader of the second best guild in Sandstorm City. The guild was Mirror Glower and Watermoon Guild. He was also a core member of the System Organization, and it was rumored that he is one of the 9 heavenly chosen who founded the System Organization. He saw this as a great opportunity to get a lead on the System Organization of the first follower, but he was concerned that from tomorrow, the number of hidden dungeon attempts would be reset, and if he missed it, he'd lose the drops for that week. He decided to get the reward in front of him first, then contact Leng Yue later on. He accepted the friend request. Then he told the priest that they should enter the dungeon next time. He was in a hurry to leave since he had things to do. The priest was happy, and he looked forward to his invitation. He went back to the sewers guided by his experience from his past life. Back then, serpents would appear near the entrance of the hidden dungeon. He decided to search the vicinity for traces of a giant serpent. He saw them coming. The small serpents. It was the real monsters in the lair of the serpent demon, but he was still cautious in case something unusual appeared. He broke open a door, and it revealed a staircase. He lit a torch. When the room was illuminated, it revealed a bone structure of a large serpent. The system confirmed that he had entered the hidden dungeon, lair of the serpent demon. There was a serpent demon larva in level 10. It has 1,000 health points and a seed of flesh and blood that adds plus 500 to that. Plus, it had 100 attack, 10 defense. It had the skill clot of Flesh and Blood Clot, where the serpent demon larva condenses the seed of flesh and blood within its body and adds plus 500 to the health points. He summoned one of his beasts. It was the Thunder Scorpion. He ordered it to finish all those low-rank serpents. The Thunder Scorpion activated the skill crystal Thunderstorm. The system asked him if he wanted to consume the seed of flesh and blood special medicine. It randomly increases the player's main attribute points by plus 1 to 5. Consumption by human race classes increases the tolerance level. He consumed this hidden spoil. His tolerance became 100th and he gained plus 3 spirit. He realized that it could only be consumed 100 times, but the increase in attributes was very huge. Also, the production of such rare items that permanently increase attributes was limited, and just one of them can be sold on the market for at least 4 or 5 gold coins. Yuan could get 1,000 seeds by clearing the hidden dungeon once every week. This way, even if he doesn't join a guild, he won't suffer from a lack of gold coins anymore. He consumed another seed of flesh and blood, and it increased his constitution by plus 5 and tolerance level by 2 out of 100. He ate another one, and it gave him plus 2 strength and 3 per 100 tolerance level. He didn't stop there. The next one gave him plus 14 spirit and 4 out of 100 tolerance level. This continued until he reached a tolerance level of 100 over 100. At this point, he's at level 15 with a Necromancer hidden class and a talent called Dark Summoning Art and Netherworld Gate, 89 out of 150. His stats include 77 strength, 101 constitution, 119 agility, 318 spirit, and experience points of 2,040 divided by 16,739. He reached the maximum limit, so he decided to keep the remaining 900 seeds of flesh and blood and sell them after he rented a shop. From then on, he planned to clear the place every week. He left 3 undead kobolds there to scare away ordinary players so no one would discover it anytime soon. He also noticed that the serpents there were different from what he saw from the first follower. He wondered if he had some ability to mutate monsters. It was also strange that the level 60 monster appeared when it shouldn't have at that stage. Suddenly, he received a call from his sister in the real world. Given her personality, that call would mean something bad happened. He answered the call and immediately asked if something bad happened. She replied no and asked if he had eaten. He replied yes. Suddenly, Tan's classmate butts in and tells him that Tan wanted to ask if he's free to help clear a dungeon. He was confused, but he replied yes. Suddenly, a man expressed that Tan was a liar and her brother was a braggart who just talks big. The man couldn't believe his confidence to just agree when he doesn't even know what dungeon they were talking about. They mocked Tan by saying that her brother had gone crazy for playing too much and that they were just conniving to deceive people. A woman beside her suggested choosing Ash Valley on heroic difficulty. No guild had ever cleared that yet. Tan asked her brother if he heard everything. The blonde man told her to stop lying and her brother was a fraud. He added that their parents who give birth to scums were not good people either. This angered her. But Yuan told her not to waste her words on him. He assured her that he will be at Ash Valley right away. Although her brother plays the game a lot and has earned a good amount of money from it, she was still worried because the Ash Valley dungeon on heroic difficulty was the second hardest dungeon after death difficulty. She was also worried that she caused him trouble. They were already in the game, and a woman approached her. It was Chen Qian. She heard that Tan's classmate congratulated her for moving to the villa, and Wang Yan overheard it. She knew he wasn't a good person at all. So she came there to be a witness and force him to apologize to her properly in front of all the students. Tan thanked her. Qian took her role seriously as a witness when the results came out. Yan arrived and yelled that he had seen plenty of materialistic girls like them. He asked if their parents work as servants in someone's villa. Yan had an in-game name, Mr. Wang Yan, and with him were Follower and someone from the hired player squad, Demon Blade, and Wife, Seeker. Tan yelled at him that even if he was born with a silver spoon, it doesn't give him the right to mock others. Qian told her not to pay him attention. Yan got triggered. He ordered 2 men to teach her a lesson. Those 2 men were elated because they always wanted to touch her. Someone moved fast and left a trail of light. Those 2 men were shocked that they were suddenly hit. Yuan cuts off their limbs. Then he asked Tan if she's all right. Chen blushed when she saw him because he was handsome. Yan couldn't believe that he dared to attack the mercenaries. He complained how much it cost him, and he thought they wouldn't be able to clear the dungeon now. Upon meeting this guy who bullied his sister and spoke ill of his parents, Yuan immediately crossed the gap between them. Yan asked if he knew who he was, but Yuan didn't even let him finish yapping. He wasted no time and slapped him. Then he replied that he didn't care which dog's son he was, but since he liked to bark and bite people, he deserved to be euthanized. Yan crashed on the ground with a powerful impact that shattered it. The woman beside him couldn't believe him because the dungeon required at least 6 people, and yet Yuan killed Yan, so now they might not be able to go. Yuan replied that he had some other arrangement for the lacking people, so all they have to do is be quiet and wait. It was also timely because the Ash Valley dungeon drops the combat horsemanship skill, which was also a skill he would need sooner or later. He invited Son of a Bygone Year to join. Qian Tian whispered to Tan that her brother was tougher than she imagined, plus he's handsome too. Tan looked proud, but tried to be subtle. Yan gained consciousness and started yapping again, but the woman with him told him to look ahead. Son of a Bygone Year showed up, and she recognized that he's one of the top players from the Super Trio. The teleportation was done, and he joined the party. Yan couldn't believe that it was the great Son of a Bygone Year, the main priest of the Mirror Flower and Watermoon Guild, the second strongest guild in the Western Desert. The woman thanked him for carrying them inside the dungeon. Qian Qian also didn't expect him because a top player like him never joins random parties. As soon as he arrived, he jumped to Yuan while expressing his gladness that his dear friend finally remembered him. He had faith that he would take him to the dungeon with him. He rushed over as soon as he received the invite. Yuan kept him at arm's length. Yan and the woman's jaws dropped when they learned that the kid asked Son of a Bygone Year to take him into the dungeon. They thought Tan's brother was just a wandering player. The woman considered that the Son of a Bygone Year just joined a wrong party. Son of a Bygone Year clarified to them that he came specifically for his dear friend. He told them that his friend was the great master among great masters, or in short, a god. He asked them if they hadn't heard of him before. Yuan invited them to head to the dungeon. Yan didn't pay much attention to what he said, and told them that a priest from second-rank guild wouldn't do much in the Ash Valley dungeon on heroic difficulty, especially when the first-ranked guild, Rage Guild, failed to conquer it too. Yuan told him to shut his mouth and watch carefully how he clears the dungeon. Their party entered the dungeon, and as soon as they reached the other side, an Ash Lizard level 18 was there. It had 4,700 health points, 580 attack, 75 defense, and Flame Spit skill. This allows it to launch a fire attack and cause additional burn damage that lasts for 10 seconds. The stats of the monster were strong. Tan was worried for her brother. It made her wish that she had a higher level. Yan assumed that Yuan brought the priest because he wanted to kill the monsters slowly, and he won't let that happen. He ordered the woman to bring out the nearby monsters too. She followed his order. She attacked first and made the Ash Lizard angry. Tan asked why the monsters attacked all at once. It wasn't like that in the videos that she watched. Those Ash Lizards charged at them. Yan commented that they're unlucky. Son of a Bygone Year replied that those kinds of situations were really exciting. He assured his dear friend was hyped up too because the battle would elevate them. Yuan called him a Thunder Scorpion. It activated the skill crystal Thunderstorm, and in one sweep, the Ash Lizard was all caught in it. Then Yuan charges in, while telling the others to protect themselves too. He slashed those monsters. When an Ash Lizard charged at Tan, she told Qian Qian to hide behind her while she took care of it. Qian Qian told her to be careful, but Yuan rushed to her aid and took care of the Ash Lizard. Tan realized that her brother was strong in the game. In fact, he was so strong. After he defeats the Ash Lizard, he pats her head and it makes her blush. He assured her that as long as he's there, she'd never fall into danger. She was silent, but her cheeks were flushed. Yuan simply smiled. Then she swats her hand away while feeling embarrassed. Qian Qian witnessed their interaction and thought how it was great to have a brother because of the sense of security. Yan then muttered that the Ash Valley dungeon wasn't that difficult. One person could crush it, and with his silver gear, he would never be inferior to them. Follower agreed that they could never afford the gear that Yan had. Yan called them idiots and told them to watch carefully as he would demonstrate his true power. He attacked the Ash Lizard, but instantly got smacked in the face by its tail. He didn't expect the monster to be that strong. He complained that it was too painful, like he's gonna die. Yuan told him that if he wanted to die, he should wait until he cleared the dungeon. Yuan wanted to get a gear for Tan, but he only had a silver gear that would do for now. He gave her the gears that were suitable for her. It was a silver grade fighting spirit glove with plus 50 attack power, plus 25 strength, plus 15 constitution, and an attached skill called Raging Fighting Spirit. Because of this skill, when she enters a combat state, the critical strike chance increases by 5% for 10 seconds. He also gave her the silver grade armor of courage. It has plus 50 constitution, plus 15 critical strike damage, and an attached skill called Spirit of Courage. With this skill, when she deals critical strike damage, 8% of the defense power is converted into a shield of equal value. Follower was impressed with those gear. A single silver piece could buy a lot of luxury goods. So in total, those gears equated to several million, and he gave it to her without batting an eye. Yan told her to stop. Tan refused the gear and told him to use it to defend himself instead. She told him she could manage her gear on her own. Yuan realized she's as stubborn as before. Son of a bygone year released an area attacked while Yuan charges ahead. Qian and Tan fought too, while Yan ran for his life. The ash lizard hits Tan with its tail. She blocked it with her sword, but it was tough. She convinced herself that she could do it. The ash lizard attempted to eat her, but suddenly a barrage of attack rained down on the ash lizard, bringing its health points to 24 out of 4,700. She suspected Yuan to have done that. She was annoyed that he still treats her like a child. She doesn't want him meddling with her affairs. Yuan was worried about her, especially that it was hard to give her some gear. He continues to fight several monsters at once, but still tries to help her out secretly. Qian saw it and finds it amusing that one secretly sends spoils and help while the other knows about it and insists on being stubborn. Their strange harmony was truly unique. She finds watching them more fun than fighting monsters. While in the background, Yan and Follower ran from the ash lizard.
Thank you all for watching. Please watch this next Giga Chad video, and I'll see you guys next time. Also, support the channel by joining the Summon Club membership. You can also support by just liking the video and being awesome.